Hey,
Hello, Duncan.
news. Hello, Richard.
News. We're here for a Die Hard. Are you here for a Die Hard?
Die hard.
The Hard. The. That's German. So this is the second
Apropos
best.
of this.
Yes, 72 people in the room. Fuck, that jumped up quick. This
Hey,
is the second best Die Hard film. We agree on that, don't we?
I think so. It's probably for me one of the more like it's probably the most enjoyable one. It's the one I'd like to chuck on more. But objectively, I'd say yes. It's probably the second one.
I do I get straight up excited to watch this movie. Like, I really love this film.
Yeah.
I just think it's super great. I know. Hello to Niall, who's moderating. Ivan's been in, but Ivan's off for a Zoom chat in a bit. But Ivan has been in. No, I said off for Zoom.
Very, very 2020 of you.
I hope he's paid the subscription because it cuts off 41 minutes otherwise. So I was off to do that, but Niall. No, I remember Niall went off to go see this in the cinema in Cambridge, the old one on Regent Street, and then come back going like, "Oh, it's really, really cool," and because he was like not quite 15, I think, so could go see it, or just about 15, whereas I could not see it.
Good night. No, I remember when it came out. I remember all the posters and stuff around town.
Round barrel.
Barrel.
So we've got flaccid skeletons in the chat.
Actually.
Oh, I didn't text. So you and Callister just put something up, which I meant to text you about, but I kind of figured you had been hammered with tweets and stuff as much as I had. But they've announced that RoboCop is in Mortal Kombat 11.
Right.
Because, there's the Schwarzenegger Terminator with the ropey voice, and I think the Joker and Spawn, Keith David as Spawn, and they've done a trailer with a very disinterested sounding Peter Weller back as RoboCop.
Oh, he's been dragged back in, is he?
Well, he does it for the Dosh, though, doesn't he? I mean, and to be fair, he doesn't say anything different to that, does he?
No. As your recent interview with Chris highlighted, he's all about the Benjamins, which I can't blame him for because
Well, it's hard to argue with that, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's because they do. At first, the thing is about RoboCop, we all love the film, but it's like this kind of bit of brain shoved in a suit that has to sit in a chair for 16 hours a day. Like, the idea of putting RoboCop in Mortal Kombat is a bit.
Yeah, sure. That's just a remember the 80s. Ooh, the 80s.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I don't know.
I do. You do.
Duncan is in a less than gregarious mood today.
A foul mood.
A foul. I mean, might be saying that.
I had an afternoon nap and it's made me rather cranky.
Rather cranky. Yeah, no, I've been. God, what happened today? Oh yeah, I had to take essential supplies to my mum and dad today again.
Oh,
including a literal bag of shit because my mother wanted compost. I took her a bag of shit. I just referenced to Peter Weller as RoboCop in the Mortal Kombat thing. So he's doing the voice, much like he did with the. Did you ever see the Colonel Sanders thing? He did.
No, but
he sounded. Man did not want to be there. Which, hey, fair enough. He's taken a payday. Well, I just knocked my camera a little bit. Whoops. But it's kind of like he comes out of the car with a gun and goes, "You're under arrest, dirtbag." It's just like, just because it's Peter Weller, it doesn't mean it's the best possible version of RoboCop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. 101. They're not Dalmatians, they're subscribers. I looked. Did you look? There's a new feature in the YouTube studio. Did you see that? It's exciting behind the scenes talk. It shows you what it's a little kind of heat map of when people look at your channel.
Oh.
And we are viewed between 6 p.m. and midnight.
Interesting.
It seems. I wonder if that's just because of what we do. Our release times at 6 p.m. I don't know, but it's between 6 p.m. and midnight.
There you go.
There you go. That's when you are all watching between 6 p.m. and midnight when you get home from work, but you can't go to work because you're furloughed. As Ewan Hauser points out, you can make RoboCop now fight the Terminator, but you can also make RoboCop fight Spawn and the Joker, which kind of shows how dumb the whole enterprise is. Really.
Yeah, I never got all that when I was younger. I just never really, they used to do that a lot with sort of fighting games and stuff, and it's like, yeah, but I mean, it's not as hardly true. It just looks like him. RoboCop can't really jump and run back and forward and
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like RoboCop's kind of like this stiff ass bit of flesh shoved in a suit. Like he's basically arthritic. The point is that like he can walk into a firefight and walk out of a firefight, right? That's RoboCop's sort of capacity. So he's going to be like. I do know that I liked how they, because like Mortal Kombat's like really leaning into its sort of B movie roots, which I like. I don't play them or anything, but like I don't know if we watched these together, but like one of the Terminator's fatalities is like he summons a time bubble that cuts you off at the knees and teleports you to the future, and then loads of endoskeletons come out and shoot you. You know, it's all like supposed to be dumb, which I'm all right with. Yeah. Interesting that because Schwarzenegger would do fucking anything, and they couldn't get him as the Terminator, but they got Peter Weller as RoboCop.
And man,
and man, which I've insisted you should have done it because yours is way fucking better. I mean, I do have a bias, obviously, to declare.
Thank you, and a
poor Duncan.
A commission to collect is what I was trying to say.
Worried you might kill yourself halfway through. I'm hoping Die Hard's going to cheer you up because.
No, it will. I just this week's taken its toll on me. I've just been knackered. But I built this new desk that none of you can see, but I'm very happy with in my new little office corner from which to work. From
which to work.
From which to work and talk down the barrel.
Down the barrel. I did mean we need to talk about some work stuff actually, which I probably shouldn't talk about on camera. We'll do it later. It's fine.
Okay.
Like fucking Saturday night, yeah. This is the one time I'm not drinking. I've got Vimto and water in the little fridge, so I've been enjoying some daytime drinking, and now I need to not daytime drink. 20-mile bike ride this morning, in actual fact.
Oh, well done. Very good.
There you go. Showing off. I meant to ask in the arsing about period. Have you ever watched Prison Break?
Do you know? Weirdly, that's very strange. We have just finished watching it.
Oh shit! Like all of it.
Yeah.
Right. So I've just embarked upon season 1, and I'm right at the end. I'm just after the flashback episode, so it's like 22 episodes. I'm like,
they're really long.
Yeah, because it's old school, right? You know, it's like 15 years ago. When I say old school, I know the revival series was a bit more recent, but like, I'm kind of watching it. My girlfriend was like, "Should we give it a go?" And I was kind of like, "It's not like I've got anything better to do." And I was a bit shitty about it, but we watched it. And the first episode is directed by Brett Ratner. And I'm just like, fuck, this is like Brett Ratner dumb. I don't think I'm going to like this. Because it's kind of like, okay, listen up, John Prison Break. We don't like people that break out of prison. And if you break out of prison, we'll put you in the shoe. And it's all like that. And I was like...
Yeah, it's fair.
Why? Go on.
No, it's just sort of... It's quite sort of lowest common denominator. It's sort of, in terms of the prison setting, because in the first season is all set in the prison. And that is very kind of generic. Early noughties, kind of like Oz and all that stuff was all set in the same thing.
Yeah, because Oz is a nuts. Have you watched Oz?
No, I haven't.
Oz is fucking crazy good. Like because it's just nuts, and it's not about breaking out. It's kind of borderline fantastical and stuff.
Someone's just sent us some money by PayPal. Sorry, 15 something. I'm just going to log into the PayPal.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yes, of course. Sorry, I should have said at the top. Background today, again by Ian McGar, that he just sent over on Twitter. It looks fantastic, this overlay we have at the moment. This was Ian, so thank you so much, Ian.
Yeah.
It looks great. Should say that, yeah, if you do a super chat, you're very welcome to do a super chat, and we're very grateful, but YouTube take 30% of that. So if you use... I'll try to point it this way. If you... Duncan's closer. Yeah, Duncan, you point down. If you use the PayPal link, we get to keep 100% of it, and we're very grateful. Scaro85 just gave £2. Thank you very much, Scaro85. He's the 85th person from the Dalek home planet Scaro.
James Harris has just sent us £15.44. Which is rather, so thank you. He asks, to Rich, have you ever created content for the channel to then ditch it last minute before uploading it for any reason? And to myself, what's the sexiest timepiece that you own? So would you like to go first?
A timed piece. Yeah, but I can't think what, man. I think I have, but nothing for any particularly...
I'll tell you what you did. Ghost to Mars. You uploaded that and then didn't do it for the longest time. Not
for no reason. That is it's quite a funny story in that it's not really a story. Like, people kept going to us like, guys, when are you going to do Ghost to Mars? And I kept going like, "We done it, man, months ago." And then they were going like, "Are you sure?" And then I was like, "Am I sure?" Like I'd gaslighted myself, and I was just like, and then I went back through my hard drive, and there you like. Ghosts of Mars, and because it was so early on and our show was evolving so much, like it looked completely different to everything we were doing at the time, and it suddenly appeared online. So I don't really know. And in terms of any fully featured content, I'm not sure what I've done that I just ditched. There's a bunch of kind of like fetuses of things around, but nothing that I had to ditch for any sort of like any interesting reasons, I suppose. What about your sexiest timed piece?
My sexiest timed piece. I don't know. Probably my favourite one is my GMT Master, which I'm wearing right now, which I'll show off for you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you can see that. Hang on, let me get.
Can I just ask you something? The Pepsi thing. Is that just that watch, or just a number of watches do the kind of Pepsi thing?
The Pepsi refers to the bezel colours.
Yeah, the red and the red and the blue. That's what I mean.
This was available in that. It's also available with the black bezel, which I have, and then a black and red, which they call the Coke. They didn't. I mean, Rolex didn't, but that was just the nicknames for it. The new ones don't come in those. So the new one, there is a Pepsi, there is a black one, and a black and blue, which they call the Batman. So there you go. But generally, I think any sort of bezel with blue and red on it is sort of generally referred to as a Pepsi bezel. But that's probably that's my favourite. I don't know if it's the sexiest, but I have a few. Let's put it that way.
Oh well, there you go. It's good.
Modest collection.
Had a nice one on your wrist. Just in time for the question. What are your views on fan films? What is your favourite? Do you have any views on fan films?
I think they're cool. I think they've become a little sub-industry. I think since Batman Dead End, they've kind of obviously found a real home on YouTube. But the thing is, I think they've probably reached a glass ceiling a while ago, because obviously YouTube allows you to monetize things, and presumably if you make a fan film, you've got to consider that a write-off in terms of, you know, whatever you invest in it. There's a good one actually with the Joker. A guy does a very, very good Heath Ledger. I can't remember.
Oh, I think I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a guy tied up in a chair.
Yeah, is it like a Harley Quinn film, but it features the sort of super, or Harley Quinn's in it maybe, but it's a
no, she's not in it. It's
just the Nolan,
just Nolan Joker and guy in it. Yeah, but it's pretty good. He's alright. Dude's alright in it. He's a bit. He basically does a Heath Ledger impression, but it's pretty good. But there's some really good fan films. I have no problem with it. I think it's kind of cool.
It's a shame that they're very sneered upon. People sneer at fan films, which I think is a shame, because I'm connected to Steve Green, who directed the 2000 AD one. So there's the Strontium Dog one and the Judge Minty one. So commenting on those is probably a bit whack for me, but I thought they were cool. I think if you're working with a really high concept character and you have no budget, the best thing to do is do a really small story, like your Joker and the guy tied to the chair, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it lends itself well to those little snippets and moments of things to do with characters. There's a Superman fan film that's like feature length, and it's on YouTube. I can't remember what it's called, but I know because the guy who was in 2 Days in the Smoke was in it as Superman, and it's like, it's all kind of, yes, Lex Luthor, I will fly to whatever, and it's like you never really see Superman do anything. But there's a bit where he beats up two muggers, and it's just clearly, I recognise the street because it's around where I went when I was rehearsing for Measure, and it's just basically sort of southwest London. It's like, right, it's not really Metropolis.
Right.
You see cars driving on the left-hand side in the background, and like double-decker red buses and stuff, and it's like.
Have you seen? Speaking of that, because I think, you know, sometimes particularly like American comic book ones, where it's kind of like, oh, we're going to do Central City, but in Birmingham or whatever. Like there's that Predator one set in the Crusades. Have you seen that?
I've not seen it, but I've heard of it.
I haven't watched it the way through, but it's cool from what I've seen. I had to scrub through it because it's not very long, so I'm just an intellectually bankrupt, lazy piece of shit that should have watched it. But it's cool because, like, you know, you're not trying to have loads of people running around doing phony American accents. It's kind of knights, and they've shot it here, I think, but they're kind of Crusades knights or Knights Templar or something.
Well, it's a perfect setting, that, isn't it? Because when you think about it, all you've got to worry about is costumes, really. As long as you find somewhere that's foresty enough, you haven't got to worry about, you know, whether or not your city looks like Metropolis, because that's expensive.
Yeah, and you know it's appropriate because it's like about a warrior culture and stuff. So if you're going to do a kind of period Predator, because if you did like if you were Japanese and liked the Predator and went, oh well, I'm going to do a bunch of samurai or something versus a Predator, it's like yeah, cool, like warrior culture, hot country in that case as well. And you could do a little kind of thing there. You're more likely to get a bunch of sort of American geezers in their back garden in Wisconsin making samurai versus Predator, but you know where.
Sounds pretty good.
Return of the Ghostbusters is feature length and there's a cameo of AVGM. It was a sequel to his fan film Freddy vs Ghostbusters. Oh, Sean Danaher, $9.99. I remember Freddy vs Ghostbusters existed. I remember when that popped up. There are some because there's a ton of Punisher ones. I know there are certain characters that seem to. They did a Rogue. Do you remember Rogue Trooper from 2008? The blue soldier guy.
Yep.
Yes.
I drink out of that mug every time I come around to your
house.
Of
course you fucking do. Yeah. Steve Green did the VFX for a kind of. There's a guy. I think he's like a stuntman or something, and he made like a Rogue Trooper film because they're clones. He played all the soldiers.
Oh, nice.
Interestingly, because it's kind of unclear with that character, but they're all done with kind of British accents, and I know it's a British comic, but I think everyone's a bit unclear as to whether or not that character's supposed to sound or how he's supposed to sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I liked it.
There is a British there's like London or whatever in that universe, isn't there? With like British...
Britsit. Yeah, so British. They've got like lions on them instead of eagles and stuff. And
oh, cool.
Yeah. There's a thing. There's a guy called Oliver Hollingdale who's in the fan film business, and he announced this insanely ambitious Dread fan film. Years ago, like we're talking probably about 2014 or something, and it's just kind of dragged on and on and on, and was going to be a series and was going to be a film, and I think he does a trailer once every time the moon's in equinox or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, every now and then the dust blows off this page and something else comes out, and that was set in Britsit with kind of Britsit judges and stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Rogue One feels like a fan film with a budget. I mean, I kind of feel like that about Solo as well. And
oh yes, I meant to mention. I can mention this in the preamble. It is linked to this. I obviously, having Disney Plus recently, have decided to catch up on all things Star Wars, and I watched Solo, and I watched last night. I watched Rise of Skywalker.
Ivan watched Rise of Skywalker today, and he said, "I'm gonna live WhatsApp you for the whole film," which he did, and I was getting Ivan's live reactions. Talk to me about Rise of Skywalker.
Wow. Wow. I mean, actually, do you know what? As just a pure piece of eye food, it was all right.
Delicious eye food.
I liked all the actors in it were really good. I liked all the like Daisy Ridley, bless her. I thought was really good in that, and I think she gets a real hard time.
Oh, like I don't think that I think I said myself when I reviewed it. There is nothing wrong with the performances. I mean, I think like you can tell some, like for example, Oscar Isaac's a bit pissed off, but he's still a great actor, and like John Boyega and stuff. Like they're all, you know. Unfortunately, the ghoulish exhumation of Carrie Fisher doesn't work quite as well.
No, that was really weird. Really, really weird.
And the whole thing, a lot of this.
Strike me down and kill me, and I will win. And then at the end, she kills him. It's like, well, why didn't he win then? I thought the whole thing was kill the Emperor and you lose. She killed the Emperor. Why didn't she lose? I just you doing it more annoyed. It's not going to mean like you win. So,
I love that. She just has to try slightly harder.
I know. Two
lightsabers. It's two lightsabers. If you strike me down with one lightsaber, I will.
That's the rules.
Those are the special rules.
And it's like, why is this any different? You fell down a massive exhaust pipe and exploded. Why?
But he's supposed to be a clone, though, Duncan. You should have bought the visual dictionary where that's explained, and not, in the fucking movie. Come on. I'd be quite up for live streaming that because everyone's got Disney Plus and it's just funny. That being said, it is long and it's getting hot. that's
true.
Those are my objections. It's a long ass movie.
It was just, I mean, do you know what, as well, there's some really lovely moments in it, and it's really, I didn't mind it, but it's not great. And but Solo had the opposite problem. I thought Solo was a bit bland, but it was actually all right. I didn't think it was, for what was quite a troubled production and everything, I thought.
Oh, Solo is completely inoffensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I don't find it particularly interesting. It has some fun moments in it, but it's completely inoffensive. I in no way kind of thought to myself, You know, because the thing is, with Rise of Skywalker, it has that feeling of something, you know, that kind of reconstituted meat thing where they've tried, all these people, they've made a film, they shot it one way, and then it would appear some suits or somebody have got involved in the edit, and it's not the film that was meant to be in. Whereas Solo, despite all that, plays out perfectly fine. If you didn't know there'd been behind the scene problems, you probably wouldn't really be able to tell. Whereas with Rise of Skywalker, I find it really, really obvious. But then again, they reshot so much of Solo, didn't they?
Yeah, big time. Like most of it. I think. Same with, well, I don't know about Rise of Skywalker, but
it seems they reshot some stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to find out about that for quite some time. Because it's not in their interest to tell us that shit, is it?
Not really. Let's see what's going on in the chat.
I'm juicing my backlighting a bit. There we go.
Oh, yours always looks so much better than mine, but tough. I can put the room light on, which I will do.
I bought this fucking camera, didn't I? And then the whole world shut down, so I can't use it for work. So I might as well use it as a glorified fucking webcam. You know.
Fraz Dunk asked if I ever met Tom Cruise. No. Well, I didn't meet him, but I was on set with him, and he watched me work at one point, which was very, very, very distracting. Because he was right in my eye line. He was sat behind Jean-Marie Baptiste, who I had the scene with, and he was just sat there cross-legged on a sort of sofa that was part of the set but wasn't in shot, and he was just staring at me, and it was really weird. But that's it. But by all accounts, seems like a nice guy. I was on set with him like on and off, and I saw him kind of work, and yeah, nice guy, I think. All right.
There you go.
Not that short. Not that tall, but not that short either. I'm just going to try and turn this light on.
I think he's one of those people, like, he's not as tall as Nicole Kidman or a number of, you know, because he's not 6 foot or whatever. It's sort of people take the piss. But we had this conversation before, Max. It's like, you know, RDJ's short and De Niro's short and Pacino's short, you know. And these are all people that sort of get that rap. So there you go. There's a short talk on Val Verde Broadcasting. Doesn't seem to have affected those guys' careers whatsoever. So, you know. Where am I lighting a little bit? Yeah, it's a bit better.
Is that any better?
Yes, that is. That sounds delightfully clear and bright. You sound bright. Yeah, no, the other light looks way better. That's good. We need to get you a coloured bulb.
That's true. Yeah, she did say about that.
We've got some, you know, we've got some specific chat. What do you think of the alternate ending to Die Hard with a Vengeance? Says Sam Montgomery.
It's a bit out there, if I'm honest.
It's a bit nuts, isn't it? It's a bit too. I do like it, but it's a bit grim, isn't it? It's because it starts you off with John in a bad place, and that version ends you with him in a worse place, because the world thinks he's a liar and stuff, and
then he plays sort of essentially Russian roulette with a bazooka, which doesn't really make me.
I like how mad it is. It's a nuts idea. It's like he takes the end off or whatever, and but it's I like it, but I'm glad it's one of those things. I like it, but I'm glad it's not what they went with.
Me too. Yeah.
And I always kind of feel there is that kind of break in the movie, you know, when he like Sam Jackson gives him the nickel to make the phone call, and he's, you know, but then there's the bottle of aspirin and all that. Like, it feels like there's a very clear break where either of those endings work from that point, but it's just kind of retooled to accommodate, which is cool. I dig that.
I really, really like this film, I have to say, and I am kind of excited to see it again. Just to very, very quickly, Paul McCulloch sent us £20 on Patreon. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. Cheers.
Very kind. Philip Casey, MBE, my father, sent us £10. Thank you, Dad.
Oh, thank you, Duncan's dad.
Very appreciated. And Julian Nicholas. Okay, I don't know. Sent us £5 also. So thank you so much, everyone. That's so sweet.
Much really obliged. Keeping things going at the moment, because it's a bit fucked, actually. Very fucked at the moment. The situation. It's hard to know what's going to happen. So much pressure. Oh, I should put that on silent. You just got a tone there. Oh, bloody Brad Watson is fucking.
Oh yeah, I know. I just got that as well.
Brad's watching. Brad's in the room.
Brad Watson in the house.
Go to the chat, Brad. We miss you so much. We talk about that a bunch of times. Like, we miss you, Brad. Get in the chat and say rude words.
We're going to get him on. I'm going to do some stuff. I've just been terribly behind in terms of I've done live shows with TGV of the Urban Gentry, which, if you're watching TGV, hello, and massive thank you for rating us your number 1 out of 10 favourite non-watch related YouTube channel. So thank you, sir. It's lovely. If you're here, it's lovely to have you. Yes, and I did 24 with him, which is going to be a two-parter, and then I did Jaws with Mark Price, and it's all getting. Now, basically, I had to get a new laptop, and then Richard had to train me on how to use Premiere, which is yielding semi-good results.
We'll get there tomorrow. We'll log on tomorrow and we'll get it sorted.
I'm
Kirk sent us £5. Kirk, the coffee man, big supporter of this channel.
Hey.
Hello, lads. Hope you're having a great weekend. Do bank holidays count at the moment? Cracking weather. I'm checking in for a bit as I'm sharing. No more today. Hey, Brad's commented. Whee!
Kirk, by the way, sells incredible coffee from Vietnam. So if you guys want to switch up your coffee game, hit him up.
Someone, Joe Mitchell's already in asking Brad for the Hallows Eve watch party. So there you go, Brad.
Hey.
Yeah, good to man. We miss you, Brad, but now we're isolated, so we can't see each other, which kind of sucks balls.
I keep meaning to call you, actually, Brad, if you're listening. But I every time I'm like, what if he's having a poo or something? So I need to.
I mean, that is true of anyone you call, Duncan.
That is very, very true. Yeah, but no, I'm going to pick up the phone and give you a bell. So watch out over there, because every time text messages are so lousy, really. So I need to just give you a call. But I'm going to give you a call, and we're going to chat. It's going to be fun, and then we're going to sort out a time to do something fun.
We should say, derailed Duncan a little bit because TGV put us at number 1 in his top 10 channels, putting us above people such as Red Letter Media and other stuff. And we took an influx then of over 300 subscribers in the space of a week, which in the world of the glacial progress of Val Verde subscribership, that was like off the scale for us. So if you are new and you came here via TGV, welcome. We hope this isn't too much of a hard landing.
Here's my watch to make it a little bit easier.
Yes, TG Velicious. I don't really wear watches, which is really awful. I mean, he gave me one. I wear I do wear that for work sometimes, because I'm not a person to wear watches, but I wear that one for work because it's good to have a timepiece when I can't get hold of because your phone's got to be off a lot when you're camera operating and stuff.
I might see about getting you an SKX or something, a Seiko SKX.
What's a Seiko SKX?
I haven't got mine here. It's a very I can run and get it. It's basically a dive watch, but it's a very cool. It's an automatic. It's a mechanical piece, but it's rather cool. It's just, and they're affordable in terms of they don't cost too much, and they're not sort of silly money to service. But anyway,
I've been lamenting how I can't buy trainers at the moment because I do love trainers. I like fancy trainers, but it's deeply irresponsible to buy so what I like the Air Jordan 1s, like the white high top ones. I've wanted those for ages, and they're a few quid more than I'd normally spend because it's a luxury item. And I was looking at one on Amazon, I was like, yeah, but think of all the rice you could buy for when the end times come, or how about food?
Yeah, but that's always true. I mean, sometimes you have to do it. Maybe not right now, but you do have to treat yourself every now and again, I think.
Every now and then, yeah. I mean, right now it's bare necessities, really. But you've grown up. Vote Saxo7 says, we'll have to get you lads on a live stream on my channel at some point. I would love to guest on that channel because Steve guested with us, and I'd love to. I've had some little DM talk with Steve, but we should all do a thing because I like doing stuff with those guys. That was fucking fun. It was fun.
Absolutely. I don't know about Doctor Who.
Watch all of it. Watch 50 years worth.
I went to university with Matt Smith. Does that count?
I won't recount your account of that because it was no. I'm not gonna no.
No, he's right. But I don't know if no. I don't know. I can't talk about Doctor Who, can I?
I don't think you wouldn't want to swap place with him. Primarily because he was Skynet in Terminator Genesis.
I'll take his career though.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. I'm sure he's done it well. I mean, I'd say Karen Gillan has done way better than him.
Who's that?
She's Nebula in the Avengers movie. She was Amy in Doctor Who. She was like Doctor Who's the Doctor's sidekick during Matt Smith's run.
Yes,
and she's had like this massive career afterwards. She's Jumanji as well.
Very good. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's awesome in that. Yes, of course. Yes. Yes. No, she's very cool.
Steve is
Very
chiding me for not replying to my DMs, and he should do because I'm really shit at that. James Davis gave £9.99. He says, "All right, lads. Hello, James. Good to have you.
Hello, mate.
You get the Robert Redford of truth."
We have received. Hang on, some more PayPal. Let me dig into that. He says, "No, not now. Stop asking me to confirm things. What am I? I don't work for the government." James Harris sent us £5 and says, "No, sorry. We're supposed to send you chaps 20 quid before the dollar to pounds conversion got confusing. No need for a shout out. Extra $5 on me, peace." Oh, bless you, mate. That's very sweet. Don't have to do that. 1544. I wasn't taking a piss. It's sometimes these random numbers.
Yeah, right. Because sometimes it will say, sometimes it says $10, and other times it says £7.72 or whatever, which is weird. I've got very long and involved DMs from Steve McCullough, which I feel really bad about. I'm fucking Jesus Christ, I'm terrible. And I've got the script he sent me as well. I'm sorry, Steve. I'm just shit at DMs. I'm the worst at DMs. I'm sorry.
I am too, because the trouble is I read it and forget I've read it.
I don't think Steve has WhatsApp. Steve, man, you got my number. WhatsApp me if you got WhatsApp. I'm sorry. I should command you as to what method you should use. I've just stopped being a lazy cunt. That's the issue. The issue is I'm a lazy cunt.
It's 8:30. Very quickly before we get going, I just wanted to give a shout out to Stan. Is it Wilkes?
Stan Wilkes.
Stan Wilkes, who did an interview with me for his channel, and he's done an interview with Richard as well for his channel. Really, really lovely young lad. Irritatingly young and precocious, but he is
talented wanker.
He is. He's a very inquisitive, very smart young man. So please go and show him some love. His channel, I think, is just called Stan Wilkes. So go check him out and check out our respective interviews. Brad Watson sent us £20.
Our own Brad. Cheers, man. Thank you so much. Me and Richard for a Rise of Skywalker commentary. Any fucking time.
And me. I've seen it.
No. Closing the Skype window, pressing the red button. I wonder if we could do it. We could do a Skype 3-way maybe and do that. That'd be fucking great.
Right.
Thank you, Brad. Fucking hell,
mate.
Man.
Bless you. Thank you.
Right. Well, should we get on with this nonsense then?
Let's do
the hard 3. The hard Zwei. So if you have your copy of the hard Zwei, we'll count you in from 57. No, are you ready with yours? And I'll do a count from, say, 10.
Indeed.
Yeah, ready? Okay, so we're going to go for it, guys. If you got your Die Hard.
One thing, that certain copies have different things at the start, I think. Different idents, do they? Or do
mine
they
goes straight into 20th Century Fox. Does yours?
Okay. Mine does not. Okay. And I know we won't talk about this. I'm going to get to the bridge, I think. Oh, no, hang on. I'm going to play it. Sorry, everyone. This is so thoroughly dull. I'm just going to get past the ident, because mine has a... It looks like Coralco, but it isn't. That's really weird. I don't know why we've got different...
Okay, that's fine. If we get into the first part of the film proper, we can start from there.
Synergy apparently released mine. Oh. Okay. Just had the ident and it's gone black, so I'm pausing there. 20 seconds in.
Did James Davis just gave another $9.99?
Stop it.
Thank you very much. I do have a Synergy logo.
Excellent.
Do you want to start from the start of the Synergy logo?
That would be the start from the start for me, but yes, that's fine.
Yeah, okay, let me get to the start of the Synergy. Everybody get to the start of the Synergy logo, if that's where your copy begins.
Apologies for the lack of professionalism on our part.
If
my fault.
Copyright wasn't such a motherfucker, we would just stream the movie for you, but that's not allowed, so... Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Alright, are we ready? We're gonna... I'll do that question in a minute. Okay, so get ready to go. I'm accounting for the delay when people go, but I don't have the Synergy logo. It's going to give that a bit of a... Okay. 10. Oh, I'm going to... Everybody go on go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Hot town, summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirty and gritty. Been down, isn't there a pity? Doesn't seem to be a shadow in the city. This sort of like off-Broadway opera version or something. I don't know. Brad Watson's here. He would know what the Andrew Lloyd Webber version would be like.
I bet Brad knows this on the keys, on the ivories.
On the ivories. I do fucking love this movie. Like, it's great. I think so much about it is just great, and it's just like such a great.
It has that energy that you sort of forget about. I think that modern films just don't have for whatever reason, you know.
Colin is saying, couldn't you guys actually put the timestamp on the screen so everyone knows where you guys are in the movie? Not really, no, because we're playing 2 separate copies. We tried to use Cast, but that didn't work. I would then have to get a time code that I run on OBS that I insert at the right time. I'm not just being a dick, but it is quite hard. We'll figure something someday. But
it's a loose thing. I mean, these watch parties, I think, I try not to be like, why aren't you frame for frame in lockstep with me? It sort of doesn't really work like that. I do love this. Look at that. What a way to start a film. Ba-boom!
Yeah, it's great because it just kind of it gives you that kind of sideways thing. I just think it's funny with Die Hard and kind of pop songs, popular music, but like known songs. The good Die Hard seem to throw in known songs quite a bit, which I like on the soundtrack. And this kind of brings you into like McClane's world as well, which you haven't seen before, because I like that we're now finally in New York. So it's his side of things for a change, but it's New York feeling like California because they're having this unseasonably hot summer, so everyone's kind of roasting all the time.
That was a weird thesis of the 90s, which was like, it's like the sort of Predator 2, that this is like, it's an unusually hot summer in the thing, and it's like, why? Like,
right.
I guess it was a global warming thing or something. I don't know, but there's a lot of sort of interesting cultural things in this. Like, for example, when all the switchboards light up later on, and she goes, "And I'm going to marry Donald Trump," and you're like, that probably isn't a desirable thing anymore, is it? I'm going to ask Ivanka, but weird. That's a weird one.
Sam Montgomery just gave us a £2 super chat. Love the movie, but why can't the cops cut the tubes?
What does that mean?
Is that the bomb? When they defuse the bomb? I don't know what that's. I don't know, Sam. I have to take some.
No, not a copper, am I?
I never cut tubes. I'm not a copper. All right. 155 people in the room, Duncan.
What's up? 155
people in the room.
Johnny 5 is alive.
Doug Wannacott says, "I like that the other cops aren't rubbish in this one." That is true. Like, I like that because the other cops are running off, actually doing shit and everything, which is,
Yeah, very good point. And Jeremy Irons, I think, is different, but I would say the equal of Alan Rickman in terms of his talent and his.
Great bit of casting. They're kind of actors with similar backgrounds, like in a kind of literal sense and in a sort of actor sense. They sort of have a similar stature. They do that kind of slightly mercurial sort of thing. I really like that as a matchup. It just works. You just buy it. I think that's part of the strength of that. And it turns out he doesn't like his brother either.
Yeah, no. It's also great that it's like it is all just diversionary. It's all this stuff it's like an invented grievance that he's got with McClane.
Oh, it's
great.
Just
convenient to tie the NYPD up with that. And
he should have got that because it's exactly what his brother did. It's exactly what Hans did. It's all a distraction, which is I love that.
So simple Simon to the pieman. I love that. Or I'll cave your head in. I love it when he's what's his name, Mr. Van Vleuk, and he's like especially sexual, and it just gets absurd because it's like Jeremy Irons with a very very pantomime German accent layered with a Dutch accent. And it's like, good lord. Yeah, he's great, man. He's brilliant.
James just threw in another $9.99. Fucking hell. Okay, cheers, James. Thank you. Please don't feel like you have to give any more, but we're very, 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 very grateful for that.
Error.
Error. 999.
Control
Is he trying to call the police?
On us.
Oh, yeah.
Stan Wilkes just gave us £5. Thank you, Stan.
Man,
hey,
Stan jumped on the Patreon as well, man. God bless you, Stan. Fucking James Davis. James Davis, are you trying to dial 999 on your phone? Do you need the emergency services? We are worried.
Yeah. I'm trying to dial 9.99.
9.99. I just saw that Micah Brooks is here.
Hey, Micah. Great to have you with us.
Yeah, someone did point out earlier. I think it was HomeTube. This was originally a script called Simon Says.
Yes.
Which you can kind of see it was a concept film, and then I think they tried to retool it as a Lethal Weapon sequel, and then they landed on retooling it as a Die Hard sequel.
It works so well for this, though. I love that he's a schlubby, hungover douche. Like, it's just the reluctant hero angle is so played up in this, but it's so well done. It's so what McClane should be as well. Like, he's by no means a Superman. It's not a Superman. And and he's just sort of dad bodding it around, and it's just like, why can't we get more of that now? Because I know I'm making an excuse really for myself because can't be asked to get in banging shape for action movies. But honestly, like there's something much more attractive to watching some sort of, you know, I mean, like he's not like fat or anything, but he's
when he has his shirt off, like he's not, because I think that was Bruce Willis's thing, was to be the everyman, and I don't know what's happened to him because he thinks now he's some kind of superhero and this stuff. And let's not go on about the sadness of Bruce Willis, but he's like in decent shape, but he's not nowhere near like Schwarzenegger shape or whatever. But it makes him, you know, particularly as McClane, makes him more believable.
Yeah.
Joe asked if we shipped the posters yet. We shipped the posters just yesterday, or Duncan did.
Yes. They didn't go yesterday. They went the day before, I think.
Oh, day before. Bank holiday.
Well on their way to you guys. So. Yes. Yeah. Some have gone to the States, some in the UK, but they will be with you as soon as possible. But they have gone.
James Davis just threw $14.99. Jesus, James, please stop, man. Like, don't. We're very, very grateful, but please.
Very sweet.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
very, very sweet, but please don't spend all your money on us, man. Yeah. Sam, I'm going to read £2. Just make sure you get £2 because YouTube sucks. So, okay. Thank you, Sam.
Brad says no one says Superman like Dalton does. Very true. Superman. You can't identify with the Superman. I love all this stuff as well. Look at New York. Look how run down and scuzzy it is, and it's just like.
Oh, this is an early example of digital sign replacement, of course.
Right.
Because that says "I hate N-word" on it.
Yeah.
I'm not dumb enough to say that on the internet. The actual sign they filmed on the day said "I hate everyone," and then they digitally replaced it.
Really?
Yeah, as not to have, or it might have got that backwards, and that's like what they did. They changed it to "I hate everyone" for the airline version, but I'm pretty certain they shot it as "I hate everyone" because that was a very difficult thing.
Like, we're all gonna die. He hates N-word.
Yeah, dude. Airline versions of films just blow my mind. It's like, why is this on a plane? Like, just don't show it on a plane.
The airline opening to Tomorrow Never Dies is the most egregiously hacked up thing. It's just like James Bond gets in a plane and flies away. The end. It's like they all lived happily ever after. It's like, what? It's like, right.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, Jamie Sutherland just chucked in £2. Another £2 for the road, lads. Cheers, Jamie. Thank you very, very much.
Let me check that.
So we got some.
Kirk sent £5 on PayPal. Just so you know. Sorry.
Oh, £5. Oh, thank you, Kirk. Thank you very much. We have Frank Allen in the room. He of Val Verde fame. We have Brad in the room of Val Verde fame. There's all kinds of Valverdeans going on at the moment. So that's a good time. The alumni. I wonder if Saturday night just happened because it was like my girlfriend's birthday on this Thursday and stuff, and I couldn't really be like, sorry, darling, I'm saying cunt on the internet. So she does appreciate, bless her. She lends me her dog shed for example. But
couldn't see a film doing this nowadays. I mean, because some idiot would get upset about it, and it's like it's fictional. It's not real. But obviously, it's a horrible word. But yeah. But it's just sort of it's a great place to put him. And so my favourite thing about this film is probably Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, he's great. They bounce, and this is when Samuel L. Jackson was on the way up because now he's ubiquitous megastar Samuel L. Jackson. But he was because him in Loaded Weapon 1, where Bruce Willis does a John McClane cameo, right? Like, yeah, he was in kind of parody action movies before he did action movies, and him here is like this is such a great character as well, and just as a foil to McClane. Because he's the one who tries to defuse the situation. Because we know that's not what McClane's all about, but he doesn't, and he's about to get murdered by those lads outside.
He's also kind of like old school. You can imagine him being like in the Black Panthers or something in the '60s, and it's like, and he's a tired old guy, but he still has his, he has his beliefs that are like entrenched. But he realizes this is a situation he needs to de-escalate because there's going to be a murder.
When he turns into act crazy, like his act crazy is brilliant. He's like, number 26, or like he just starts saying all that fucking gibberish.
What, McClane?
Yeah, McClane.
Yeah, he goes like, I am the voice of my true God. He's like, no, I have a bad headache. I have a very bad headache.
I have a very bad headache.
I do though. No, I have a bad headache. So good. It is. And I love the guy who comes over as well. He's someone. This guy has so much charisma. He goes,
the knife launching guy.
Yeah. I think the guy says like, he a friend of yours? He's like, he looked like a friend of mine. But I love that. that guy he's really cool, and I'm like, I don't know if he probably has had a career outside of this, obviously, but look at him, he's awesome. He's really cool.
So the knife throw in this is one of the only sort of like ropey moments in it, because he does that weird like underarm like that. It's a classic thing of panning to a knife which is a very effective technique. It still works, but like the way he does it underarm. Like it's just weird.
The whip hand, just to see.
James Davis gave another $9.99. Soon to be owner of the channel, James Davis.
You hold significant stock. What are we going to do about that? Smashes a bottle over his head.
Oosh.
Oh, and that's obviously a callback to the
See,
first
that's
time.
what I love about it's all that stuff. And obviously, Mark Kamen, the late great Mark Kamen's back composing this, and he does what he did in Die Hard, which I've talked about endlessly. Like someone said earlier, called him like god tier composer, and he is a god tier composer. He was amazing, and he works in kind of Civil War marching music and stuff into the soundtrack.
Yeah, the Ants Go Marching stuff is
I can never remember what it's actually called.
But it's the rhythm he does with it as well. So. It's brilliant. Anyway, I won't sing on the internet.
Well, I think that's the. But you can sing though. You can actually sing.
Well,
I do it egregiously because I know I can't, and I think that's funny. Like, you can actually sing.
Well.
Brad Watson asks, "Is this the greatest screen representation of Zeus ever? Second greatest after the one in Hercules in New York."
I was going to say, yeah. I look Puerto Rican to you. He didn't say, "Hey, Zeus." He said, "I love this Mount of Olympus."
Lightning bolt up your ass.
Showed up the lightning bolt up your ass. Zeus, you got a problem with that? That's so good.
Yeah, this is great. I love this because what I love most of the magic of this is like it shouldn't be this good.
Yeah,
I know. It's like, it shouldn't be this good.
Right.
This is fucking great. Like,
so
and
well
McClane's aged a bit and stuff, and you know.
Yeah, no, I love it, and I just love the I think the cinematography is great in this. It's very 90s, but it's got the same sort of energy as something like The Fugitive and stuff, just in terms of the way the camera moves, and it just. I know it's a very different film, but it kind of fits it just clips along, and I don't know. This is probably my favourite Die Hard film to watch. I love the first film. Don't get me wrong. I do think it's the best.
I call this the steamy precinct, not in a sexy way, but you know, it's kind of like that steamy, inky, smelly, dirty shit as police precinct. Dirty shit. And all those those frames of just extras, tons of extras, all doing shit all the time. This movie's great for that.
Yeah, and everyone's got such a great personality, like Connie and all these people. You sort of feel like you know them, even though that they don't get much screen time. But there's some really great, it's great little character stuff. Like the psychology guy, you know, I love it because he goes like, "Put on a dress and fuck me." He's like, "I was gonna say kill you." Yeah. And that's great as well because there's a lot of times where like John McClane. That's a sort of motif that sort of subtly runs throughout the film, is McClane finishing other people's sentences and then being corrected. And then
carry over all those little character tics and build on them, and then you know the fact he is wearing the vest, but he's wearing it like he would in summer with a shirt over it.
Yeah,
it's not just an excuse to have him in the vest. You know,
well, because he got stripped off earlier, didn't he?
And you do kind of feel and then it's like, well, when he was talking about New York, he was talking about these guys, like this is his beat and everything, and this is kind of, you know, I kind of wish at least some of these guys had come back for Die Hard 4.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, as well, one thing I want to give this film a lot of credit for that it you would never think of perhaps to do is it doesn't go down the corrupt cop angle, which would have been so easy. Like, you know, one of them could have been in cahoots so easily. They could have made one of them the bad guy, and they don't do it. Which was going on all the time in 90s cop stuff. So, I love this guy as well. He's brilliant. Like I say, very whatever stuff, very cool stuff, like throws it at the chest.
Yeah, it's the guy that's a bit too enthusiastic about his grim job. It's sort of like Lance Henriksen in The Terminator. It's like, he burned his Afghan, screwed it first.
Well, that character's just like, and the same here. It's like too much wish fulfillment. You know, like he really wants it, but then when he actually gets confronted with it, it's life or death. It's like,
yeah. Grew up watching Talkminute cowboy movies or whatever.
Yeah. See, I love this as well. This is such a great idea for the bomb. Is it's like you just need to see the two liquids merge, and that, you know, it's a great visual thing for the bomb. You know, so we know whenever we see those two liquids in a thing, once they start pumping into each other, it's like
And it's really when they build that thing, when they find the one in the vending machine in the school and the fake out one, we see the fluids mix, and it's like because like the X-Files film a couple of years later had a bomb in a vending machine thing, didn't it? And it's a very similar, very very similar thing, which is not nearly as good. Another $9.99 from James Davis.
We've received also £5 on PayPal. Hang on. Stop asking me to confirm my phone. PayPal from David Kukol. Send us £5. Thank you, David.
Well, there you go.
Much appreciated. And survive. Where are my something now? I love this.
Hans Rudy Geiger says "Pinus" in the chat.
Yes, it is. I talk Giga says. On the road to survive. I love it. I love it. What's it he says later on when he's like, as I was going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives, all that stuff, and he goes like, 7 wives, shut up, 7 wives, 7. It's like, what? And then when he goes, just the guy, and he goes, what are the rest of them doing? He's like, sitting on the fucking road.
And also, people keep posting versions of that on Facebook.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's kind of like, so the man was going to the town market and he was those stupid like, answer first, if you get it wrong you got to repost it. I always say, sit on the motherfucking road away. Sit on the fucking road. The one, also the bit, the water jug puzzle in this.
Yes.
They keep doing that in Resident Evil games, and they did it in one of the newest ones. And every time I do it, because I streamed those games a bunch, I'm always like, guys, it's the Die Hard puzzle. Like, it's the Die Hard with a Vengeance puzzle, where it's the piece, for one jug minus the other. Like,
for the longest time I couldn't work it out, but I did find it online because thank you, the internet explained it in great detail. But yeah, it's something like. I'll figure it out in time to talk about it. But it is something to do with because obviously you pour the 5 litre to the 3 litre, leaving 2 litres in the 5 litre, and then
it's about adding what's left from each one, because you can create then 1 litre.
You empty the 3 litre, you pour the 2 litres into the 3 litre, and then I can't remember.
It's not so much how it's actually done in this film; it's the logic of it that got me through. Because the numbers aren't the same. It's like Resident Evil 3 and like Resident Evil 2, the remake did it. And I think somewhere else, I think in Code Veronica as well. So the numbers aren't the same, but it's the same logic. You need to create a single unit of fluid to then...
I know what you do. You fill the 5 litre, you pour that into the 3 litre, leaving 2 litres and 5 litre. You empty the 3 litre, you pour the 2 litres into the 3 litre. You then pour that back into the empty 5 litre jug. You fill the 3 litre jug and you pour that into the 5 litre jug, and that gives you 4... that gives you 5 litres. I can't remember. There is a thing. There is a way to do it.
They do. If you want to head over to any of my Resident Evil 2 remake streams, you can see me doing that in the lab section of the Resident Evil 2 remake when you have to create the wiki.
That's worth 5 hours of footage.
You're not allowed to scrub through. Watch the fucking lot.
yeah. Be a completist.
Lee Barron is in. Lee, you sent us a DM which you haven't answered. I also spoke to Lee about doing a panel with us, which I failed to advance. Hi Lee, I'm sorry, I'm a fucking bum. It's my girlfriend's birthday this week. I've been busy. I had to bake a cake in secret and everything. I've been drinking Vimto, Lee. James Davis gave another $9.99 and I'm getting so worried about him. James, please stop, man, please.
I'm drinking adult Vimto.
Adult Vimto. This is what I normally drink. I've just had too much to drink this week.
Yeah, I've not had enough. That's it, I need more. Give it to me. John McClane. That's it. I could have played that easy. No problem.
Oh man, well, that's the Commando 2 thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't imagine. You can't get Arnold Schwarzenegger in a fucking in an air vent.
I can't imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger going, put on a dress and fuck me.
I can now.
Well, I guess, but it needs that. I mean, Bruce Willis, I don't know. It's very hard because he does show, like that roast that he did. He did that roast. They do those in the States a lot, and he seemed really sort of full of humility and just a down to earth guy. But I don't know what his story is, man. At the moment, I think someone said, didn't they, that they just thought he was a very frustrated guy because he got this massive career in an area that he didn't want.
John McTiernan actually.
Oh, right, there you go.
Yeah, he did say, I think mostly because obviously Die Hard was kind of a big break for him. I think he was talking more about working on this film. he was quite bitter about the fact that, because Bruce Willis tried to do a bunch of really interesting stuff, and obviously he wanted to be a singer, and he had an album out and he got kind of laughed at because that was his kind of thing. I think light entertainment was more his thing, and he did things like high profile failures like Bonfire of the Vanities and Hudson Hawk and a few others, and then like Disney's The Kid, and he did a bunch of stuff that tried to be interesting. No one wanted no one seemed to ever sort of drink it up, and then now he's had this whole run of just doing sort of DTV action shit, and it's just taking paychecks, and it's like he just seems depressed,
Yeah, I guess, but he does every now and again he's done something like that. I thought the remake of Death Wish was a little hidden gem. I thought he did really well in that.
I didn't mind that. I'm not a fan of Eli Roth, even more so having met him. But I'm sorry, but yeah, I thought it was all right. It's not as kind of just like pointlessly nasty as I expected an Eli Roth Death Wish remake to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it in those terms. I guess I just, for what it was, I thought it was good. But yeah, because what does he do? He lies to him about that they found a bomb in the school, didn't they, or something?
Yeah. So this all sends them off there, which because Zeus's kids are there, right? Which is just sort of happy.
Which does then end up being true or whatever.
Which is what Bob Ross would call a happy accident. Motherless Brooklyn was the thing that Ed Norton wrote and I believe directed recently with Bruce Willis. But Bruce Willis is kind of an extended cameo, I think, rather than...
Get off the damn phone, lady!
Brad Watson in the chat, I'm just pointing at the chat. Brad Watson says, Bruce's best performance, Death Becomes Her. Brad and I have talking about Death Becomes Her for ages, because Death Becomes Her was a really talked about film when it came out, and it's been sort of forgotten. I think it's one of Zemeckis' best films for my money.
Okay.
I really, really, really like, and he plays schlubby nerd guy in that as well.
He plays kept man, doesn't he? Basically in that, and like sort of just what would you call him? Like not a social climber, but like a kind of he's just
he's got a kind of high society, high society no mark, I suppose. Because he's got this kind of glasses and he kind of snivels, and he's not Bruce Willis-y. He's not hero. He's the antagonist, the protagonist of the film, but he's not heroic. He's like a sniveling little shit. And, it's great.
I love that bit where he goes, "It's just at the pie man, give me your pies," and he goes like, "Nice rhymes." It's like, what? You could simply say there was a fat woman on the phone. And she goes, "What kind of problem?" It's like, "Oh, about 300 pounds." Like, who would stop in the middle? I mean,
there's a donut box in the bin as well.
I know.
After that.
It's so that lady was eating. It's so unthinkable now. Like, that woman was in the middle of a shop and she just stopped in the middle of the street to chat on the phone to someone from a payphone. It's weird, isn't it? And the idea now, especially in the current situation, that you pick up a public phone and put it to your ear and talk to someone, is like...
There used to be so many of them as well. When we were younger, but there used to be fucking payphones everywhere. Like there was like 3 in my neighbourhood, and I lived in the suburbs. You know what I mean? James Davis says, "Could you shout my podcast, Action Movie, and Absent Parents?" Of course, James. You just paid a bunch of money in. James, please get a link, man, and we'll shout the fuck out of your podcast. Of course, absolutely. I suppose we've all, because Lee brought up the Kevin Smith, Bruce Willis kind of, I suppose if you want to call it beef or whatever. Which kind of, James David just gave $14.99. Jesus, James, dude, please stop. Like, actually, please stop now. We're not worth it. Sorry. What was I saying? I got distracted there. I don't know what I was saying. James Davis, please stop is my main. Thank you. You're very, very generous, but please stop. I'm worried your account has been hacked. So, but just give us a link to your podcast, man. We'll slap your podcast out. I will put your podcast on my Twitter and Facebook page and everything. But just stop putting money in. Thank you very, 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 very much.
Yeah, thanks. This all seems as well shot on location, right, rather than on a set.
I've got to be honest, I haven't looked because of Watch Party, not commentary. But it always seemed that way to me. I mean, and because they definitely invested in extras in this. I mean, the first and second Die Hard are very kind of extras heavy movies, but this, like Streets of New York, because like obviously the subway has got to be a set or something because they trashed that train, but it's absolutely chock full of extras again as well. It's got that. I mean, because this has that kind of anamorphic look. But I suppose if you're shooting in that part of New York, you can't totally shut the streets down. I don't know. That is a practice that did exist, but
I imagine they would have, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of that racking in as well. That is something that Tiernan does a lot, but especially in this, there's a lot of racking shots.
Oh yes, it was Kevin Smith that I got, from which I became distracted. Yeah, I mean Kevin Smith, because he himself slags off his own movies, and having watched the recent Jay and Silent Bob movie, don't stop slagging yourself off, Kevin, because that was dismal. But it's really funny. Like, it is really funny, that whole piece about Bruce Willis and whatever. And I didn't mind Cop Out, and I think it's not as bad as everybody makes out, and it's got really, really wonderful music as well.
I couldn't get through it. I honestly, hands up, like, I started watching it and I was like, this is not for me. Like, it was shit.
It's got music. The music's by Beverly Hills Cop composer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a kick. I'm looking.
Jeff Beverly Hills.
No, you know.
Probably.
It's going to come. Harold Faltermeyer. It's got Harold Faltermeyer making very Harold Faltermeyer music. So at the very bottom line, it's got a great soundtrack. But it's not as bad as everybody said.
I love that. Do you remember this in the Die Hard trilogy game when you basically just heard Zeus berating you the whole time not even God knows what you're doing.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, you killed somebody. Like, they would use that clip whenever you hit, because that game, like the Die Hard, the amount of blood in that game. Have we talked about that? But we must have talked about Die Hard trilogy before.
We have. Yeah,
because my favourite was Die Hard 2 with the kind of Virtua Cop knockoff.
I like that one. Yeah, that and the third one were my favourites. The first one was right, but it was frustrating. But no, yeah, I love it when he goes, "You aiming for these people?" He goes, "No, maybe that mime."
So it's great when he just when he just mugs Simon off on the phone and he starts to stutter. That's great. That's the kind of because McClane in the first movie kind of cared more because he had a family and stuff to worry about. But now his relationship with Holly's on the rocks again, and he's an alcoholic or whatever. Like, him just not giving a shit, and poor old Zeus has to go along for the ride, and he's about to get them blown up and shit.
Well, that's the thing. Is like, you're watching. I suppose what's redemptive about this is you're watching him learn to have to give a shit again. And this really, he doesn't have any skin in the game, and it's like he's just sort of reluctantly drawn in. And yeah, maybe he is sort of looking for some sort of redemption to us. I don't know, but it sort of doesn't matter in a way. It's kind of like, he's a sort of decent dude. But this is the first one where it's not like he's not trying to save his wife. You know what I mean? Which is good.
I do think I always think that Bonnie Padilla got kind of a raw deal on these. I don't think, for example, there was room for her in this one, and probably because it's an adapted script.
Yeah.
And the whole point is Zeus gives him the quarter at the end, go call your wife. So to then do Die Hard 4, which I know is ages later, she should have been in that, and particularly because it's about linking up with the daughter, I think she should have been in it somewhere.
Yeah. My wife's called Holly, and we're going to have a daughter, so I'm basically John McClane.
Oh, that's the level of offensively vague abstraction that I'm normally guilty of, so I would absolutely agree with you are basically John McClane.
Yeah.
Casmines gave $10. Did you spot Roger Moore on my Last Action Skellington poster? Also, hi. Yes, I did spot Roger Moore on your Last Action Skellington poster. There's been a lot of Last Action Skellington fan art. Which
I did. I think I've seen it.
Yeah, on Twitter, man. Well, I say a lot. There's been 2 pieces, but there's 2 more than I expected to happen. Yes, I did. I enjoyed it very much, Casminus. But I've just been, for political reasons, I was trying to dial down the volume on Last Action Skellington lest I annoy a certain person that we no longer work with. So, but I enjoyed it very, very much.
Unless we incur the litigious wrath of a certain individual. Yes,
exactly. Doug Wanacott says nobody should have been in Die Hard 4. I am a Die Hard 4 apologist.
I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
Once you've watched this, you can go watch our episode of It Ain't Broke on Die Hard 4. I text Duncan from a plane, a la Die Hard 2. No one texts anyone in Die Hard 2. There's no texting. But I watched Die Hard 4 on a plane home, and I had Wi-Fi, so I WhatsApped Duncan saying we should do an episode of Die Hard 4.
Very cool.
The first time an episode came to fruition via a plane.
There you go.
It's a very tenuous thing to bring up, isn't it?
No, Die Hard 4's alright, man. It's sort of it still has one foot in this area, so it sort of gets a pass. But I do think it's it's the beginning of the decline. I think.
Oh, dude, like this is vastly superior. Like it is vastly superior. Like no doubt. This, I mean, but I don't think 4 is as awful as it. People act out like it's the worst thing they've ever seen. It really isn't, and I think Bruce Willis still has that twinkle in his eye. I think he's still McClane. Like Die Hard, the last Die Hard or whatever. It's awful.
Yeah.
Die Hard 5 was just awful and kind of depressing, and
Yeah, and I mean, Kevin Smith, you brought up earlier, like that his account of working on Die Hard 4 with Bruce Willis was enlightening, But
I think it was either Doug or Lee said earlier. He tells a story of because Bruce Willis got divorced and stuff from Demi Moore, and they have kids and whatever, and it seems like he was just knocking about on his own for a while. And I think the conversation they have is kind of like, hey, he found out who Kevin Smith is, kind of like, oh, you're from Jersey, I'm from Jersey too, we should work together, and it's kind of cool and nice. Because Kevin Smith was just hanging out and Bruce Willis, but it was a bit weird that he seemed to be on his own, just calling Kevin Smith up.
Yeah.
Which just kind of makes me a little bit sad, and I just sort of think, I think Bruce Willis, because those fucking, what was it like? Was it like This Morning or something? Or the one show where he gave that horribly spiky, awkward interview for Red 2.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was, but yes, yeah.
Vote Saxon 07 says scientists are still trying to work out exactly what type of cancer Die Hard 5 is made of. It's gotta be dick cancer, hasn't it?
Specifically urethra cancer.
Dick pipe cancer. Cancer the dick pipe.
He can't come into work today. He's got cancer of the dick pipe.
Okay, James Davis has said he's pissed.
You may regret this in the morning, James.
James Davis, if you have the function to remove your super chats, neither Duncan nor I will mind.
No.
If you're drunk dialing money into our show, please undrunk dial it. It's absolutely fine by us. We don't mind at all.
He's putting our kids through college.
I don't have any kids, but I'm going to get one and put it through college. College.
Oh my god.
Yeah, someone's saying Mr. HEC 381-991 says the ITV interview, so there you go. Yeah, that's horrible. He's just giving the interviewer a really hard time. It's like, yeah, it's trash or whatever, and it's just like...
Yeah, I know. It's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, yeah, we're just selling the movie. Shut the fuck up. All this sort of something. It's like, oh god. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the questions that get asked in interviews are pretty asinine, and I would tire of them as well. But it's like, it's your job. Just go.
Just do it. You're a movie star. James just gave another 10 quid.
James, what are you drinking? I want some.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit worried about James. Question for you two lads: what's been the nearest modern day equivalent to this film, either in tone or as a buddy action comedy flick? To this film. Buddy cop. I don't really know. I mean, do they make them like this anymore?
They try. I mean, the thing is, they sort of fall into parody now. So there was the thing with Kevin Hart and The Rock. What's that called? Ride Along.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's fun.
There's two of them. There's two of those, right? Like they did it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're sort of. I've seen the first one. I think it's sort of absurdist and it's fine. I think the thing with The Rock is it's like he's prolific in that he's sort of brought about that genre that is really a parody of all this stuff. It's just kind of become a sort of, it's like a parody in a way. It's weird. It's like,
they did Skyscraper, right? That was his Die Hard one.
Yeah.
All I think is the ones that are like the first Die Hard, because there was like Olympus Has Fallen and White House Down. White House Down in particular as Channing Tatum running around in a vest, right? Like he actually like that. They super Die Hard that, but it is kind of Die Hard 1. Like Dreads was Die Hardy, wasn't it? But just in that a person is in a building. The Raid was Die Hardy. I can. I would recommend Night Shooters by director Mark Price, whom I've never met or have any affiliation with. Available now on Amazon Prime.
I'm not in it.
I am, and that's why it's better than that fistful of lead. That's rubbish. That's rubbish.
I was pretending to be you.
Oh, you were
saying I'm not in
me
it
for comedy. I wanted to create a situation where we have a pretend rivalry over our Mark Price appearances. That would be great.
No.
Oh, that would have been fun.
We can, but
Brad's
who
in.
has the most screen time?
Brad's
Who's further up the call sheet, bitch?
Who's actually an actor that got paid?
Well, that
There's some gimp that turned up for the fucking day. As is Brad Watson.
Speaking of which,
Brad's. I don't know if he's credited as Light Switch Zombie, but he had to stand for loads of takes playing for Light Switch.
Oh yeah.
Great.
No, you guys were great in that. You were good sports going in.
Yeah, that's right. Richard Jackson made the movie. Duncan Casey.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. 11 out of 10. Duncan Casey. Well, what was the Dave Bautista one in a football stadium? Do you hear about that?
With Piers Brosnan and my friend Lee Charles is in that, and my friend Ben had something to do with that because I remember when we were doing I Am Soldier, he was telling someone about extras casting or something to do with that. So he knew some people who cast that. I can't remember what it's called. But yes.
Sorry, we are. It was great banter, but we're talking over the set piece of the subway train smash up and the way all the dust comes out of the the ground, like it's super great. And it's just like
it's very 9/11.
Yeah, before all that happened, but that is really spectacular. That subway,
big glory shot of the World Trade Center as well earlier. But
a number of people have cited The Nice Guys as a buddy cop film. I can't remember who initially asked that question. I would say The Nice Guys is because The Nice Guys is a deeply funny, very excellent buddy cop. In the cop, really, just buddy movie.
Well, in the same vein of something like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, it's that kind of that acerbic kind of buddy.
Well, it's the Shane Black of it all, isn't it? Because if this was attempted, if they, Simon Says was initially retooled as a Lethal Weapon sequel, which is presumably Jonathan Hensley or whoever writing a Shane Black sequel for in the absence of Shane Black. And then The Nice Guys and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang are Shane Black and around to that in a. But yeah, it's kind of like as a kind of neo-noir buddy comedy. The world needs more comedy Russell Crowe because he's fucking great.
Oh.
Like the deadpan of it all, and Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling is so. I think we always end up coming back to the same thing, which is when he falls off that balcony.
That's my favourite part. Is when he's like trying to flirt with that girl, and she's like pew pew, and he just goes. And it just flies off the balcony,
and it's completely silent as well. He just goes like, woo,
things, and he just cuts to that shot of him, like her POV, him just bowling down the hill, like going arse over tit down there. It's so he's brilliant. Russell Crowe's brilliant. Val Kilmer as well. I'd love to see more Val Kilmer in that kind of role as well because I thought he was absolutely hilarious. And of course. Robert Downey Jr. does that stuff as well brilliantly. He did it really well. Actually, Due Date it gets a lot of grief with him and Zach.
That was Zach Galifianakis. I remember you saying you like that.
Yeah, I think it's got that same sort of way. It's the cutting, biting. Like Robert Downey Jr. does that so well in that film. Of the kind of like it's that there's an absurd character and then there's the kind of grounded person reacting to it and that sort of thing. It's brilliant. But no, buddy cop stuff doesn't. It seems to be a genre that no one wants to take seriously anymore, so it has to be in this kind of sort of silly, amped-up parody, high-concept way. Like, because stuff like Ride Along is, it's like absurd. It's like The Rock is sort of a superhero, really, in that, and it's like it's not really serious. Whereas something like this is like, it's heightened, but it's sort of believable at the same time. It's like McClane is covered in cuts and bruises, and
Do you know I couldn't get on with the other guys in ways that people see because Samuel L. Jackson, The Rock, parody that kind of superhero because they do that like aim for the bushes when they jump.
I mean that's the joke is that they die right away, right? But I didn't mind it as it's not a buddy cop film. It's a comedy film that happens to be.
But it's like a buddy cop parody though, isn't it? Because like there's Wahlberg. Cause there are things in it that I really like Will Ferrell's got like really hot wife, but he doesn't think so. He thinks she's plain, and like Michael Keaton is just great in comedy roles. And then he's like working at Home Depot or whatever, but they still go into him, and he's got his apron on and stuff like that. Like that, that's good stuff. But I just think as a film, it doesn't really hold together particularly well.
Yeah, I mean,
You know.
I can take or leave it. I enjoyed it when I watched it, but I'm not bothered to watch it again. It's not. I don't think it's a buddy cop film. It's not in the vein of Lethal Weapon. This sort of falls into the buddy cop area, I guess, but they're not both cops.
Well, again, and that's the thing with because in the Nice Guys they are cops, whereas in in the other guys they are cops, whereas in the Nice Guys they're not. But the Nice Guys still feels more like a buddy cop film. 'Cause it's like
Yeah,
private. Are they both private detectives? Is that it?
I,
In that movie?
I think they're both PIs. Yeah, they're either
Yeah.
PIs or yeah, no, they're PIs. Yeah.
When he breaks fucking Ryan Gosling. Is it he breaks his finger or something? But he does
His
it
arm
in this.
or his wrist, I think.
He does it in this really kind of sort of sympathetic way, where he's kind of like, well, "I kind of got to do this now, so do you mind?"
Yeah, yeah. I watched it with I watched it with my dad. The last time I watched it, Dad came over for Christmas a couple of years ago, and we watched it. Or was it Christmas or Boxing Day or whenever? Anyway, Dad, you might remember. But we put it on and had a right old hoot. It's really, really good, and it's on Prime, I think, isn't it? At the moment, it was on Netflix, but I think it's on Prime now.
I'm losing track.
Does the rounds?
As we did tonight.
Yeah.
I watched this on Prime at New Year, and and it was free. And tonight it was not. So but James has bought me 100 copies of Die Hard with him, apparently. Tango and Cash has been discussed. I do like Tango and Cash. Tango and Cash, Kango and Tash. But yeah, I dig that. I dig Tango and Cash. I think that's a cool one.
Ewan says Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw I watched recently. Actually, yeah, we rented that, watched it. I enjoyed it, but I don't think it's a buddy cop film really, in the true sense of the word. I mean, it's part of a wider franchise as well, and it's absurd. Again, I think the thing is, once you put The Rock in something, he has to be flinging people across the room and jumping off buildings and stuff like that, because he's just like absurd.
It's like a souped up version of when they. There are films that recognise how absurd Schwarzenegger is, right? And that's what we talked about in our Total Recall commentary. Like, in the short story, he's supposed to be an everyman, but by casting him, it leans into the fact that it could be a fantasy.
Yeah.
But the Rock has to like throw a skip at someone every 5 seconds.
Well, that's the thing. And it's like there was a film. It was on Netflix or something that we watched that I think came out in late noughties, like right before The Rock became like The Rock, right? And I guess it was like 2010 or something. I don't know. And he's just a cop, and he's playing a cop, and he's running around doing cop stuff. And it was like you can't take him seriously in serious roles. He has to be like this ridiculous guy throwing people around and doing stuff.
I think that was the thing with Stallone, because like he could put on weight and do Copland. You know what I mean? He could, whereas Schwarzenegger, that never really flew, did it?
No. I mean, Schwarzenegger's had his acting moments, and I still haven't watched Maggie.
It ain't all that, man. It ain't what people talked it up to be. It certainly is not. No, I was a little. It's fine, but people were acting like it was this huge, like it was the wrestler or whatever, and it ain't. I just want to say that Brad Watson has said using liberal use of capitals, Mark Price capitals is still a capitals hack. Mark might be watching. He does. There you go. I also wanted to just Petter Danielson has just added a nice VHS story that I like, and it speaks of the difference between renting videos in Norway and Britain. I bought Die Hard 3 on VHS when it came out. It was a 15 in Norway. It was the first of the series I watched. The other two were 18. I asked my dad if we can get them both. He sent me to the store with a note. Surprisingly, it was accepted and I got them both. Went to the shop with a note from his dad. Never happened here. It's like British people are just so officious when they get the smallest bit of power. The arbiters of cigarettes and videos are the ones at the top of the chain.
It's comic book guy stuff here, isn't it, really? It's like, no, thank you.
Yes.
It's that, yeah.
Joe Mitchell's mentioned Aftermath. Now,
this is, I don't know if I'm ahead of you in the wherever I am, but this is such a great reveal of who Simon is. It's that top-down shot of all the cops scattering off to do his bidding, and he's literally just stood there on
binoculars. You'll be pleased to know we're in exactly the same place.
Oh, very good. Excellent.
We are in sync. We're in sync.
Yeah, I love this, the way he goes, hook, line, and sinker.
Because he does have a similar cadence to Alan Rickman.
He's studied Alan
Rickman. He's clearly, and it shows, which is lovely.
The only thing I think he doesn't quite get right is stuttering, because people don't really they don't go gullibility, and people don't really stutter like that.
That's all, folks.
Yeah, it's a bit hammed up, but he sort of he skirts that line of being totally believable and still being larger than life and kind of pantomime villain in places. And it's just the bit where he grabs later, his missus starts hacking that bloke up, that cop up, the security guy, and he says, grabs her hand and goes, "I think he's dead, my dear." It's just like, oh. She keeps stabbing him. It's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, because I don't. He does. He to me, he's still a nasty fucker, but he doesn't come off as nasty as Hans. Like, Hans seems more happy to get his hands dirty.
Well, he says, doesn't he? He goes, "We're not monsters. So we're sometimes monsters." That is like, oh, okay, yeah. And I get that. He wants to be civilized. Like, it's kind of like Hans Gruber, that they're this sort of like, they want to be civilized. They have this sort of air of
sartorial, aren't they? Like, they're educated sartorial gentlemen. Except Hans is more about his Savile Row suits and he's wearing what's his bloody name? Not Hans. Simon wears his wife beater, and he's more militaristic and looks like he's like an inverse John McClane.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he kind of is.
He's not an inverse John McClane, but he wears a vest and has to go down to a building that's underground, go to the bottom of it to unblow it up.
Hey. I love that little bit there with the press, where he's like,
"Live soft.
You're so full of shit, bro." I say, "Thank you." It's just a nice. McTiernan is very good at injecting character moments into this sort of stuff. He is the king of this kind of thing.
Oh man,
I love the way he just walks in.
So good. Yeah.
Just in the office now. I love it. I mean, see, that's like, how does he get away with that? He does the most ridiculous American. It's
again,
German
much like it's exactly what happens in Die Hard when Gruber just, "Oh no, don't shoot me!" Like that stupid Bill Clay voice.
Bill Clay. Yeah.
TV with that accent. Wow, fucking Brazil. Like, where exactly could you be on TV with that accent, Hans?
This is Holy Toledo. Someone had fun. And that's a little wink, nod to the camera, isn't it? He goes, "Someone had fun." He's rubbing his hands and smiling because he knows he's just basically like talking. He's done this, and he's talking to the police. He's standing right in the middle of Ground Zero talking to the police.
It is a shame to me. He was really great as Alfred. It's just a shame he was in those, because that's a great. We're getting through Alfred's like you wouldn't fucking believe.
Yeah, true.
He was great because Andy Serkis is the new Alfred, which is great and everything. But there was talk of Pierce as Alfred for this new thing. I would have fucking loved that. He was so underutilized in the World's End.
I don't know that I don't think that works for Pierce. I think Pierce is far too much. I don't think he doesn't have enough of the servant in him. He's more the master, and I don't mean that in a sort of good way or a bad way. I think someone like Tim Dalton is much more a gentleman's gentleman, and I think Pierce Brosnan.
I would love to see Tim Dalton as Alfred.
Yes,
I'd love that. That would be fucking great. Yeah, I'm always
similar, same sort of problem, not quite as much. I honestly don't think any of the Bonds would work as Alfred, in my personal opinion. I don't think it's such a good idea. But I just think there's so many other great British actors to draw from for that.
Well, that's the thing, is because we've already had in long form, we've had the great Sean Pertwee as Cockney slag puncher Alfred, which I loved. It's just because Gotham was so ridiculous. Like to paraphrase Charlie Brooker, it's so insane it might as well take place inside a tiger's eye, which might have been how he described the later seasons of 24. I can't remember, but he did a great sort of little tribute to 24 long form in one of his things.
Okay.
The character Richie, who gets killed later on, is one of the cops in the first film, says the Varden. Please tell us more, the Varden. I'd like to know.
No, I do remember this. I can't remember. Yeah. Tell us more.
Colin McLean says Alan Ford as Alfred, of course.
Naturally.
Master
Wayne.
Oh, fucking man, yes.
Shut up.
Shut up.
It's
Duncan,
just so-
did you like Pierce in the new Jackie Chan film? Was that IT, Information Technology?
No, that was the
Oh, The
Foreigner.
Foreigner. Did you watch The Foreigner?
Loved it. Yeah, very good film. Very good film. And Jackie Chan is very, very good in that. Really, really good.
Fair dues. That's what I mean, because they've been all these action people have had their sort of wrestler moment, and again, Schwarzenegger never had one. Everyone acts like it's Maggie, and it really isn't. And it certainly isn't Aftermath. Aftermath felt like it was written by Tommy Wiseau, because it was written, I think, by a Spanish writer, but it seems like there hasn't been much attention paid to the transliteration of, that script, so it just had loads of weird kind of grammar and cadence. So
yeah, that, and also it put far too much on the like. There'll be this great moment between you and the guy, and it's like, yeah, but it's not an interesting story. That's the problem. It's not a cinematic story. It's just character moments strung together with like a series of happenstances.
I think you could tell it as a small scale film well, but that, because the dialogue was because Glenn Morshaw's in it, isn't he? As his friend, and his dialogue is kind of like, "Hey Pete, you haven't been inside my house because I'm sad that you haven't been inside my house since your wife died. You should come inside my house and have some dinner sometime." Like weird scripting like that. It was.
And Schwarzenegger seems to play, like, whenever he wants to do a serious role, it's either got to be his family's been killed or his or his daughter's a zombie. But it's always that kind of like, I'm looking for my family. Oh, it's all kind of like.
I love that in 2020 you could acceptably say that someone pursuing a serious role includes my daughter as a zombie. But you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Like that's how that was pitched to us.
Because he kind of did it in like Collateral Damage as well. It was very much like his family is dead, like boohoo,
Well, and The Sixth Day, of course. No, End of Days, and it was famous because they did that scene where he cries, and that was supposed to be a big deal. That he does a crying.
I love this. I love this shot of the camera pans around and all these guys are being killed behind him.
Fantastic, isn't it? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And
I think we'll move straight to the withdrawal.
See that? They do those great it's just like in Die Hard. Die Hard, the first Die Hard. They love that, how he pushes him over.
Yeah.
They do those kind of anamorphic focus racks, what kind of go, but quick ones, where it kind of goes like, because they do a bunch of someone realizing something or you seeing something, and that rack in on the Federal Reserve badge.
Yeah.
Because Jan de Bont isn't back for this one. It's it's Peter. Shit.
Peter Shit.
Peter Shit. The cinematographer of this did The Kid with Bruce Willis. It's Peter something. He also did Peter Rabbit 2 as well. But he does, he clearly has studied the cadence and style of Die Hard and sort of done what Jan de Bont was doing. This has less of the, this doesn't, I think, have any lens flare in it, which is something that's used extensively in the film.
There's a little bit. There's a little bit in the subway stuff.
Oh, there is? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's anamorphic, so I never.
There's some. But yeah, no, it's. I love this.
Yeah, there's a bit. Okay.
The guard with the shotgun is just like, boush, boush, it's like panic mode. That they just stand there calmly waiting for him to stop being a dickhead.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop being a dickhead!
That's the thing from the so panning from CCTV to guard and stuff is a thing from the first film. That's just I don't know if it's a visual motif or what it is, but it's a thing that's done.
Well, I think there's so much more to Die Hard than just Bruce Willis is in it.
Yeah.
And that's why I defend Die Hard 4.0 or whatever it's called in your localization. Because I think it misses a lot of tricks. Like I said in our review, I think the music just does Die Hard themes, but it's not woven into anything else. Because I think Mark Kamen was dead at that point, sadly, anyway. But it's just kind of like, oh well, here's that Die Hard music you ordered, but it still does all these things and does all these callbacks, which Die Hard, the last Die Hard, doesn't do.
Yeah.
That film is so by rote. It's just miserable, just dismal. That film.
He phones for help there, doesn't he? The guy goes, "Hey, calm down, man. Maybe you'll live a little longer."
That also has the thing of Simon just being kind of calm while stuff's going off. It's something Hans did as well. Like he was just sort of like fold his arms.
It's very, very cultural. I don't know if my version is different to yours there, but that was a hard cut away from all the stabbing that she does.
Oh, mine is very bloody.
Maybe I've got a toned down version. Anyway, yeah, it's it shows, the Germanic. You've also got the marching theme, the ants go marching, all that stuff, playing in the background. All the Americans are just losing their shit and firing off guns, and it's like, and totally ineffectual.
There was in the world of us kind of calling out shitty dumb trivia for movies, which is something we do a fair bit. One trivia I heard for this is Jonathan Hensley, the screenwriter of this, and he's quite a storied screenwriter. He's done a lot of movies. He supposedly knew so much about the inner workings of Fort Knox, or at least got them right by accident, that the FBI supposedly come and spoke to him when the film came out. That sounds like one of those things where it's kind of like, I don't know, whatever. On the set of Superman, Christopher Reeve didn't need wires because he could actually fly. Or whatever that shit.
Well, that's one of those things you never have to actually back up, do you? There's never going to be evidence of that. And
well... Doug Winnicott says, do you have your favourite Die Hard Honor film? Because we talked about Die Hard Honor, Die Hard before. So the non-Die Hard Die Hards. I've got a soft spot for Speed, man. I do quite like Sudden... I like Sudden Death as well.
I don't think I've seen it. Speed is my favourite, probably, or Under Siege I like, but probably for the wrong reason.
Yeah, Under Siege is like delightfully watchable, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I wish that film would have been a lot better without Seagal. I think, to be honest,
he's surrounded by these like vastly superior actors in that movie, like
Glenn Morshower as well.
Morshower, yeah,
Cole Meany,
Tommy Lee Jones, obviously Gary Busey, even fucking Eric Eleniak from Playboy's better than Seagal.
I think you're right.
Someone's just brought up Billy Bullshitters again, and I just want to say for the record, because I've wanted to... Steve Allen says, is John Hensley a Billy Bullshitter? Billy Bullshits have come up. Billy Bullshit, if you don't know and you're new, is that kid at school that used to make up stupid lies. We're not going to go deep dive on that again, but I just watched Bloodsport again recently, and it's based on the supposed exploits of Frank Dukes, which have been endlessly debunked as horseshit. And Van Damme plays Frank Dukes, like he just is Frank Dukes, and then at the end there's a little card that says like all the times that Frank Dukes did a backflip when you weren't looking, and how his uncle got a Super Nintendo 2 from Japan or whatever. Like it flashes that up. I contest that that Bloodsport is Billy Bullshit the movie, and these are my own thoughts. They do not reflect Duncan, but I do think it's Billy Bullshit the movie, and I want to have a deep dive on more Billy Bullshit the movies, because there's a few based on the true stories that are just hold on a minute. Like
Total Recall might be one.
I like the idea that like Paul Verhoeven excitedly told that to Schwarzenegger like it happened to him, and they just I'm going to make a movie out of that. Make that into a film. Just checking the phone there, just seeing that nothing's Yep, we're good.
Executive Decision, Captain Meat's Adventure brings up. I don't mind that film, but it's not. I think it after the first act, all the stuff on the plane is quite boring. Really, I mean, the second act just drags for me. That film.
So I've never seen Executive Decision. That's one.
The setup is fine. It's the one famously where Seagal's character is killed off in the first
act, right?
Yeah, it dies in a ridiculous way. Die a ridiculous way,
Die another ridiculous way.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's got Seagal's face all over. That was probably the height of Seagal twatterdom. Well, that was the start of his downfall, I think.
He's a messy dude by the sound of it. I'm not sick, because messy normally means someone who's drugged up or whatever, but just like all over the place, old Seagal.
I think that's what happened. I mean, talk about Billy Bullshitters. I think that's what happens when you build your life on just bullshit. I do think so much of what he said. Don't get me wrong, he knew his Aikido and stuff, I'm sure, but he was full of shit in lots of other...
The two people you hear talked about in the same breath a lot are Seagal and Frank Dukes.
Right.
Like, because they've had similar things. Because, like, oh man, like, I think I get confused who's Billy Bullshits and who's, but Seagal claims to have, like, trained with Bruce Lee or something, but Seagal would have been 11 at the time, or what, you know what I mean? Like, none of the numbers add up and stuff like that.
It's a shame, but I think that Seagal went through a period where he was quite watchable and enjoyable, but he like stuff. I think it's his stuff like Mark for Death is a much more,
things like Nico and stuff like that. Like the early Seagal films are kind of interesting. I mean, I do think because Under Siege is this weird thing because it's like a Warner Brothers movie, and it's like the height of because the whole idea that Seagal was ever theatrically released is just the maddest thing, and like Under Siege, it's like a proper movie. It's a proper movie on a boat, and there's helicopters and all the pyrotechnics and stuff. But you know, it's just like, what is this? What's going on? Oh, here we go. Yeah, I was wrong about lens flares. There are lens flares for days.
Yeah.
I'm talking out my ass.
48 hours.
I'm just gonna get my jug of chilled water.
Oh, very good. But the truth has many turns. He's so good, man. The trip it suggests. This is his moment. Can you hear me, or are you still? No, you can't. Hello, boys and girls. It's time to talk about Richard and what a penis he is. What are you putting in your water, Richard? Oh, what's that? What's going in there? That looks like a jug of gravy. I'm going to give him grief about that when he comes back. That's gravy. Isn't that gravy? I think that's gravy, boys and girls. Anyway, Die Hard 3. Die Hard, yes, Under Siege 2 does have Catherine. Under Siege 2 Dark Territory, Mikey P, does have a young Catherine Heigl in it. Very true, very true. Yeah. Die Hard in a Die Hard. What did you just put? That looked like you had a jug of gravy.
It is like a gravy jug, yeah. But I was using it for the distribution of water. Well, it's just the one that we normally use it in the house for cooking. But because I wasn't having any beer, I put a cold water in the beer fridge tonight.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. I might go and get a whistle wetter in a minute.
Brad R. Watson says Richard is a hack with the same distribution of capitals. Weak lemon drinks is multi-revelator. Yes, very good.
I like this moment as well here, where because that's sort of McClane stopping to me. He's like stopping two kids from they've been shoplifting, right? And he stops. This shot's really weird as well because
they throw the shit at them as they ride off. I love that.
Yeah.
The stuff they've nicked.
Went over here in the middle of the fucking road.
Richard is drinking gravy. Is the that's the.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. What is it? They have a shitload of.
Oh, Ryan Ricardo's here. Hey, man.
Hey, how was your birthday, Ryan?
Watch dogs, Richard. Sorry.
How was your birthday, Ryan? Tell us.
Tell us about your birthday.
Your birthday.
Your birthday. I do have lots of dog washing accoutrement around me. Here's the dog washing hose, if you can see that.
I like this guy. The guy plays the cop. You know, the cop who's working with. Well, he's not a cop, but
he looks like a sort of prototype David Harbour, doesn't he?
Yeah, I guess he does. I just love the way he works. Like he acts really well. Like he's on the phone to someone else, and he's just like, "Yeah, 1 minute, sir." And he's like, there's a couple of moments like this as well, where he's on the phone, and you've got the other person on the other end going like, "Shall I kill him or let him go?" And you know, the near misses or the near brushes with death that McClane and Zeus have and don't realise it. You know, people, it's quite interesting.
It's him riding up on his bike to Wall Street like a kid.
Yeah.
He's like a little boy, but he's got the suitcase as well.
Yeah, no, just leave it. He just dumps it. But I think he goes, "Hey, don't leave it there. It's a bomb." Which makes you wonder: are they bombs? Are any of these actually bombs? Because they don't seem particularly bothered about them, do they? And it's like don't leave it there. It's a bomb. So.
Joe Mitchell asked, do you think there will be a meet-up in 2020? I've just spoken to one of my friends who works in London, and he said they've been told they're probably not going back to the office this year.
Wow.
So I don't know. That's put me in a slightly unoptimistic mood about the meet-up, but we would love to do the meet-up in 2020. It's just, you know...
They need to open pubs and bars and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, either that or it's kind of standing around in a field with 2 metre long sticks. Enforcing social distance.
Yeah, with a trestle table of gravy.
A trestle table of gravy. Barrel.
I love it when he walks in the lobby and he's trying to do his shirt up. Like, that's going to make a difference.
That's arranging deck chairs on the Titanic, isn't it? He's just like,
yeah.
This is a great because this is. I'm sure when they did it in like Winter Soldier, it was kind of a takeoff of this. But you know the lift scene in this, where McClane kind of because it's great. Like that's the other thing to remember is like McClane is consistently shown to be a good cop. Like he's a good cop, and you watch him detect. That's a Hot Fuzz reference for us. Your detectives detect. Like he does some good detecting. So
I mean, this is not what detectives do, really, but
yeah, but
like,
piecing things together, like the actual reality of detecting is different. But Brad Watson says you and Duncan should do McTiernan's Thomas Crown.
Well, you and I.
No, you and Brad. Sorry, Brad Watson.
Brad,
says
yes,
me
we
and Duncan.
should. Yeah, we absolutely should.
Brad Watson, I need you on board for the fucking Apes movies, mate. Hashtag Apes. I'd love to see you two do. Thomas Crown. McTiernan's Thomas Crown affair is fucking great. I think it's an underrated.
I think it's
movie.
brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, no, and well, it must have been. He must have done that pretty much shortly after this, right? I mean, roughly.
A few years later, yeah. I think it's the end of the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was 99, I think, actually.
99. So. Okay. Yeah, well, a few years after this. Ian McGarr, provider of our delicious, delightful overlay to this evening, as I said. Lockdown has me all fucked up. I forgot it's my birthday. My mother reminded you. Is your birthday today, Ian? If it is, happy birthday. Jeez, man, that's...
Is that Billy bullshit, or is that really true?
No, I think that's legit from Ian there.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what tips him off in the elevator is the lottery numbers and the guy's badge, right?
Mm-hmm. It's detecting.
Yeah.
That's so nasty as well. He's got like the gun pointed at like his heart.
Yeah, his neck. This is a slightly edited version, because the version I've got on Blu-ray, thanks to the magnificent Angelo, for that is his name, is a harsher cut. It has a lot more blood and guts. And stuff.
So the one I'm watching has the kind of thing where the squib goes off on his face. It kind of goes. He shoots the gun, it splatters. It's really nasty. The blood goes.
This one doesn't have that, unfortunately. But I didn't want to watch this downstairs and usurp my wife from the living room.
Vote Jackson says, building on Cooking with Jackson, Unemployment with Jackson, can we see a Lockdown with Jackson? You have no idea how many of my friends have asked me if I'm doing Lockdown with Jackson. Lockdown Lives, the dog room video, is probably as close as we're likely to get, unless I get a bolt of inspiration. My missus is very keen to do another Lockdown Lives episode, so there's that.
Cool. She's sort of famous now, sort of, matey.
Yeah, it's one of the best viewed videos on our channel because she shared it in dog grooming Facebook groups. So it's become like this Val Verde hit. And there you go. That was very interesting, by the way, because she kept putting it in different groups, and it had one particular group it got real traction. But it was a really great study in just watching the analytics and seeing, because she was posting things and then it was getting up and up and up. So, she put it somewhere one morning and I was able to look at the graph and see, because I have nothing better to do.
He uses a gold bar to smash a car window.
Yeah, well, this carries on the cool blue-collar vibes, doesn't it, right? Like, it's these two using a gold bar to smash the window of a shitty car, and they're just these two dirty geezers are going to drive off with their bar of gold.
This was an example. So in the early, one of the UK cuts, that bit where he goes like, "Can you hardwire this thing?" He's like, "Of course I can." It's like, and the thing is, takes too fucking long. In the cut I had, and I don't know if it was taped off TV. If it was, I think it wasn't. I think it was. He goes, "Takes too friggin' long." Like they cut that. Yeah, that was one of those irritating things.
I do like this. Makes great use of the locations as well.
Yeah.
Like the New York of it all. It's a place I've not been to, so I only know it from movies. Like the obvious things, because they use the Twin Towers and there's a Brooklyn Bridge and stuff. And
I think they sort of allude to a lot in this, but certainly it's amped up a lot more in the fourth film. Is John McClane's sort of lack of use of technology. In here, it's usually like cell phones. So it's like there he shot the cell phone. And then later on, when he's on the phone, he goes like, "Goddamn cellular fucking phones!"
Well, that is something that I don't even remember Bruce Willis talking in Die Hard 5, but the first four films they always carry through with John McClane and technology and his antipathy to technology. I love how shitty that car is. It's got like this red rims on it and shit.
He goes, "You'll feel a lot better when he looks in the back seat." He's like, "Damn."
One sec. Sorry, I was getting.
Have you been drinking McLean? No, not since this morning.
I was getting a kind of farty smell. I thought it was just the drains in the dog baths. That's lovely.
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 Well, dog
and there you go. Anyone seen Bruce Willis Comedy Central roast? One of the better ones. Yeah, he did seem to sort of. Did you mention that earlier? The Bruce Willis roast. Yeah, he does actually. He takes it in quite good humour, doesn't he? I think that's what you were saying. Like he.
Yeah, he seems really, and he's there's the really sweet bit with like Demi Moore where she like rips the piss out of him, and he's just beaming at her and really like clearly has a lot of love for her and everything. It's cool.
That's something people bring up all the time. It's kind of like, ha, your wife ran off with Ashton Kutcher and stuff, but he seems quite cool with all that.
She didn't run off with him.
Well, that's what I mean. Like people fucking get. That's the way people frame it. It's like well, that all seems quite cool though, as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
and he seems. I don't know if are they still together even. I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah. I mean, no, it's. I don't know. It's funny. The thing with this industry is that you can get caught on an off day, and then that's what colours you in the public eye for the rest of the time. You just don't know. It's like that whole tedious thing that everyone brings up about Daniel Craig saying he'd rather slash his wrist than do another Bond film at the end of Skyfall.
That's what you were like at the start of the stream.
Yeah.
Rather slash my wrists than do another stream.
Yeah. In a poor man's Daniel Craig kind of way. But and it's like he didn't mean. It's like, come on, we all know that was the context of that, and it's like, and every time everyone's like, oh, reluctantly, he came back and said, no, shut up. It's so boring.
It's a bunch of these fucking channels. I know that because we talked about this before, but like, hey, look, we try and have a bit of insight here, but the way like YouTube channels interpret movie news, like they know, like Midnight's Edge. They love to go, our sources say, and it's kind of like, because they tried to say, like, there's this whole thing about how the Star Trek deal meant that everything was only allowed to look 75% similar to original Star Trek. It's like, what does that mean? What legally enforceable document says this ship looks 75% like the original one? And then they tried to say the same thing about Star Wars, and that's why they upped it. A deal at Lucasfilm, our sources say, and it's like, our sources say doesn't mean fucking anything.
Not on the internet, mate. Honestly, what was the thing recently where it was just like, all that has to happen is one of you, like, scrupulous twats, has to say something, and then everyone can claim that's your source. And the thing is, people leak it to other sources so that they can then claim that our source says. And it's like, well, yeah, but
it's all that fucking like all these so it turns out, guys, that because there was a channel we lay into a bit, and I'm not going to go into that, but like, fuck Midnight's Edge, fuck this other channel. There was like a Dread TV pilot script, that series supposed to happen. And it said, like, I can't remember what it said. It said, like, latest revision or something on the front of it. And it's kind of like, so guys, it says latest revision, so it's clear there's been extensive rewrites. It's like, every script has a revision date on it. Like, that's constant process of screenplays. It doesn't mean... Because then they went on to kind of go, like, there must have been extensive rewrites, so to dissatisfaction of the studio. And it's like, that's not what that means. Like, screenplays have dates on them.
No, it wasn't that. It was I think it was that the screenplay had written on it, what's the common for... I can't remember. It's like, this supersedes all other versions.
This supersedes all other versions of the script, yeah. And they used that to mean that, like... They just spun all this bullshit, and it's like, that's what because you have to distribute the latest pages to everybody. That's what that means.
Well, exactly. What that means is disregard everything else.
Yeah, it's boilerplate. It's fucking.
It comes with a date so that you know what you're looking at. My problem with all this stuff is this is the problem with YouTube is there's so many people on there, self-proclaimed experts, who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and who haven't ever spent a day in their life on a film set, and they presume to speak for what's going on in the industry. And it does. I mean, I don't tend to watch a lot of them. As soon as they start doing that, if I'm watching a channel, I'll just switch off because it's tedious, it's boring. You're watching an ignorant person spin.
What it is? It's fucking Heat magazine for the internet, isn't it? It's just fucking gossip pages. It doesn't have any fucking real backing, and it's not from anyone who knows anything. I mean, at least we have the decency to admit we're chuds in our bedrooms. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I'm afraid I don't agree with that. I've worked for 10 years as an actor. I've been on many a professional set. I know what I'm talking about.
Sounds like something a chud would say. No.
No, but I mean, and I don't say that with like, I'm not trying to ram it down anyone's throat, but it's just like, I know what goes on sets. I mean, it doesn't make me particularly special. It just means I've done it. you know what goes on set. So this sort of nonsense that people, the channels out there, no, I'm not going to say it, but there are channels out there that presume to talk for what's going on in the industry like they're some sort of experts because they know what lens someone used on a film in 1984, and it's like,
well, not even that sometimes, just because they really, 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 really like Rocky or whatever. It's like, well, that doesn't qualify you. I did see something. Oh, Lewis Taylor's in the room. Hey, Lewis. Oh, Ian says, I wish you guys would do another top 10 spoof video. I have written most of one, but I wasn't. I wrote a Star Wars top 10 to send to Duncan, but I haven't quite. I think I've written 8 of the 10 things, and I wasn't happy with all of them. So, because that's kind of easy from your end, isn't it? Because you record the voiceover. I know I wrote absolute fucking word salad for you last time, but.
No, it's fine. The only thing is Audacity doesn't work on my new laptop. But then I've got my old laptop.
Oh, I have some exciting news for you vis-a-vis Adobe logins, but that's not really... it's not really on
exciting and that in the same sentence.
It is. The main thing is you can install their sound things, so you don't need Audacity anymore.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
But we'll get to there.
Anyway. Richard is very graciously training me up on Premiere, on his Premiere, no less. So that I can help edit things, and I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
We're socially distanced.
It is, but I'm really ever so grateful for that. So because it's it's a very cool tool.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Some people are talking about, Charlie Brooker's got a virus special coming next week.
No, but that makes sense.
yeah, because he didn't do a wipe this year, so that's exciting. It's good to see. He's a very funny man. Are you guys talking shit on RoboCop lover Chris Griff? No, I don't know where you got that from, Joe. But no, we're not. We're not. Chris Griff is the most fucking RoboCop knowledgeable person on the fucking planet. I think him and Eastwood Allen. Jesus Christ. Well, we've already did a whole video about that. So there you go. So
my main takeaway from that is that there's someone in the world called Eastwood.
Yes, Eastwood Allen, which is he's a combination of Clint Eastwood's and Alan. Yes, yeah. Get off my lawn.
So you kind of that sort of like is burying the lead, or the opposite of burying the lead, isn't it? It's like you kind of want your name to be the other way around, really. Alan Eastwood.
Alan Eastwood, yeah.
I love that guy. That guy's like, yeah, or the 9, and he goes, that's all 9.
That's all 9. Yeah, someone Neil Hutchison has just talked about Bruce Willis's VOD films, and it's funny because he's one of these people, and there are others, but he can just. There was a time where doing straight to video was kind of a one-way street, and it was sort of bad for your career, and you would end up in the doldrums. There are certain actors such as Bruce Willis who seems to go off and do them and just come back and do Hollywood. Not all Hollywood movies, but he goes off and does VODs, and I know the market has changed for those now. He comes and does VODs that sort of fly under the radar, and then he'll just come back and do big movies, and it doesn't seem to affect him. He just sort of bounces back and forth.
I mean, I obviously, VOD is very much my remit.
Yeah, you're too right. And the VOD these days is we used to call it direct to video, but VOD now. Like, there's loads of cool shit on VOD these days.
That's how you get started. I mean, you don't. The idea now that you would go into some theatrically released film is like laughable. Like, of course you don't. Most actors get their start in that area. It's a stepping stone.
Well, directors as well, right? Like,
Yeah.
And now, there's a democratization of that, because you're far more likely as a director of smaller projects and lower budget stuff to get distribution on those kind of platforms. And loads of really interesting stuff has been done in VOD. There's been, I think, because Scott Adkins was at the front of that. He did a ton of VOD stuff, really respected VOD stuff. And Van Damme did as well, and them together, because I really liked the Universal Soldier sequels that came out, and Atkins was in one of those.
Is he? Oh, cool.
Yeah. I always get confused. It's 4 or 5, but yeah.
Scott's one of those guys, I think, who he had a very clear from his own, from what he says, but like he had a very clear, like, he wanted to be kind of like Van Damme, and he's a very sort of literalist. He was one of those like young kids who was like, would see Van Damme flying across the screen with his doing the splits and his helicopter kicks and stuff, and went and learnt to do it without realizing that a lot of that was probably like VFX and stuff. So he's a cool guy, man. He's a cool cat. But yeah, I think he's one of those people who just goes out and gets stuff done. Like he did. I know with Accident Man and stuff like that, he co-wrote it with his friend, and just got it produced. He got my friend Ben to produce it, and and it was a passion project, and he just got it done. He obviously went out and got the rights to it and stuff.
Well,
And
I like that. That's a particular, like, it's not from 2000 AD. It's a kind of 2000 AD spin-off, really. And I think it's from Toxic. So it was written by Pat Mills, who created 2000 AD, and that is a particularly obscure bit of British comics. And Scott Adkins wants to get the movie made. So I don't imagine he had a hard time getting the rights to that, because I know other people have tried. But I love the idea that Scott Adkins likes Accident Man, so just fucking got it made. And
I thought it was cool.
They're doing a second one as well.
Yeah. I unfortunately won't be in, I don't think. But
Yeah, I've got to say, you weren't left a lot of scope for a return, unfortunately.
No. Spoilers. But yes, he just gets stuff done. I mean, I've got passion projects that I want to make in the back of my head that have been there for a while now, that I ought to, no matter how kind of crazy or out there you may think they are, they're worth pursuing, and you can get them done. And and that's sort of quite inspirational. I think Scott's a very, very driven person. I guess you have to be to kind of compete in that world, but he's a cool guy.
He did a bunch of he did a bunch of really interesting DTV stuff, like really cool action movie revivals, and it was all these. I think they were called Ninja. He did a series of films called Ninja that were VOD, and I think the AV Club did a great write up of them. And they're these really cool, like, obviously English language. It's kind of the level of martial arts that you weren't really seeing in English language movies at that time. And all these nuts, because it was low budget, but like these nuts in camera stunts that were just like, sort of like when I don't know if you've ever seen Ong Bak. That was kind of like the Thai boxing movie.
I've heard of it.
Man, the stunts, because that's loads of single takes of insane shit. And Ninja was a bit like that. I was just like, what was that? Like, because something crazy would happen, and it was like a British guy doing it. It was like, no shit, like.
No, he's he's a cool guy, man. I mean, I think, I mean, just got to get. I think at the end of the day, he's one of those people who it has that enviable quality of being able to make shit happen, which I wish I had, because I think it would make a big difference. But he's one of those people who will write to people and get people on board for stuff, and I don't know how he does it, but there we are.
Oh, there you go. Joe says, I think Duncan's passion project is Dante's Peak 2, where he plays Pierce. I quite like the idea of getting a really high budget Dante's Peak fan film off the ground.
No. The thing I would love to make one day or eventually is a biopic, but
of whom? Or do you not care to say?
I don't know if I should say. I don't want someone to steal the idea.
Yeah, no, I think, also as well, I think when you take that thing out of your head, it becomes kind of diminished. I've got some ideas that I don't speak about. They will die with me. They're probably rubbish. But it's sort of when you speak about them, and if you end up not making them, I think the problem is sometimes if you do speak about them, you're feared that you won't end up making them. Does that make sense?
Yes, I suppose. I think as well, like, it's the kind of thing where, like, I don't think it would be a person many of you here would either know or care about. But it would be great. I think it would be great. But yeah, I'm keeping that one under wraps for now. We'll see. It's one of those things that one day what I need to do is dedicate some time to start putting together either a treatment or even a screenplay, and then I need to get the rights to said person's story, probably from their daughter, I think. And then we'll see.
They've got a daughter. That narrows it down.
Yeah. To everyone who's not got a daughter, you can count them out.
That wipes them out. Someone mentioned that. I haven't seen it, but I think Scott Adkins did Hard Target 2. He did, yeah. Hard Target's so fucking great. I love that movie.
Yeah,
fucking crazy. The craziness of John Woo, man. I used to really hate Hard Target, and then I really watched it. And it's kind of like, this is just as mad as any other given John Woo thing, and I think it's a lot purer than his other American stuff. I never got nothing else he really made in the States particularly excited me. I don't get Face Off in the way other people seem to.
No, I mean, Face Off is big, mad, dumb craziness, and I don't. I mean, it's fine, but it's not.
Yeah, it's fine, isn't it? Because it's sort of like Broken Arrow and like Wind Talkers and stuff like that. And it's just like, I liked it better when
I had a soft spot for a while. I used to quite like that film.
Because I would love to do. I've talked about this before. I don't know if we get the numbers, but I'd love to do like a watch party or a commentary for Hard Boiled, because I honestly love Hard Boiled so much. It's an almost flawless action film. And it's just so grimy and clearly cheap, and it's just like every time someone does a stunt, it's like, I think someone might have died.
Yeah.
You know, would you do a film where you're in search for skeletons? I'm a little bit disturbed that people have started calling them skeletons and not skeletons, because that was. Can I vent for a moment on someone Lungful Drummer said, "What did you make of the whole Dread versus the Raid thing?" May I say my piece on that?
Please do.
Okay. So what happened was the Dread film was shot and in the can about a good year or two before the Raid even got underway. And the trailers came out at the same time, and everyone just kind of went... The trailer for the Raid came out first, and everyone just kind of went, oh, Dread's ripped off the Raid. When in actual fact, it had been completely shot 2 years prior, and it really fucked me off, because I was really pulling for that film, so I wanted it to do well, obviously. I had skin in that game, and it didn't do well in the end. It did well in Britain, which was great. It's like the best performing 18-rated movie since something else, which was really cool. In this country, but it's kind of like all these kind of twats on my Facebook going like, oh, it's just a rip-off of the Raid, and then all you've got to come back with is like, well, actually, it commends principal photography, and it just says so. Shit. And there was also is it Gareth? I was confused with Gareth Edwards. It's Gareth Jones or something who did the Raid, because I can't remember the name of the director. It would seem that he had seen Alex Garland's screenplay for Dread and was one of the contenders to direct it.
Okay.
Allegedly. So if that wrinkle is true, it's even more irritating. Also, have you seen The Raid?
No, I've seen Dread, obviously. But
I've got to say, it wasn't just because of that, because I went to see The Raid when it first came out. I went to see it at the Odeon down in Islington, which I think is where Mark did another kind of premiere of Night Shooters. But anyway, I found The Raid a bit tedious, man. It was a bit like... I really wanted to enjoy it. I went in with perhaps my expectations are a bit too high, but I just found it was kind of like... Do you know what it was like? It was like the Big Long Punch-Up from the Far Show.
Yeah.
It was just endless. And it felt so much like a video game, but not in a good way. So it even had like the end boss fight in like that tinfoil room. I didn't really like it. I found it a bit underwhelming. So I had no cause to then go watch the second one. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of stuff, I'm not... I admire the sort of martial arts stuff, and I do like the odd one, but I'm not a massive, Uber fan. I'm not a martial artsophile, or whatever you want to call it. I don't... I do love a good martial arts film, but I'm not to the point where it's like fight porn, It's not even fight porn, it's fight choreography porn, but I just got to go, I admire it, but I don't enjoy it.
We have I put Stan Wilkes' mum, Devon Easterito. Hello guys, Stan's mummy here. So much for your time. He thoroughly enjoyed interviewing you both. I really hope that's... I'm sorry, Devon, because people on the internet sometimes do things to take the mickey, and I don't know if this is legitimate. But if you are Stan's mum, your son's really talented. He's a good kid. He's going to do well, and we enjoyed speaking to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think we've had someone's mum come and say hi before.
No, I know.
Your dad. Yeah, we have to suddenly sort of straighten our ties a little bit. Did you hear us swear?
My dad introduced me to all these films and sort of swearing, so so I don't feel too bad. But yeah, no. So if someone's mum's in the room, you kind of got to behave yourself, haven't you?
So Lungful Drummer just said Dread watch along ? I did ask about getting it on a ballot one time, so it could happen. It depends if the Patreon team vote for it.
Ballot.
A ballot.
But
yeah, this film storm time, didn't it, on the vote?
Well, it actually Total Recall closed the gap quite closely.
It did, because I wasn't paying close attention.
I know, because you spoilers. Richard arrogantly scheduled the start of the day to say that's it, Die Hard 3, blah blah blah, and I was like, I hope you're right about that. And it was only a couple of % in it by the end, and I was like,
I did have my phone, because that was a day I was kind of I was supposed to turn off because it was my missus' birthday, but I did sort of I sort of kept my phone handy. I was I better look that it does win, and I think I checked at 10-6, and I was like, it's fucking got it, it's fine.
Yeah. No, you were right. Yeah, it's funny.
Devanese Riccio says, trying to donate to your channel but struggling with Gmail. Do you have another way to donate? Yes, I am his mummy. Oh, that's lovely. That's so sweet. You don't have to donate. Don't worry about that. It's fine. There's the PayPal thing, which I guess you're struggling with. If you use your Gmail account, you can pay through YouTube, or you can use the PayPal link, which is below if you have PayPal. But in actual fact, don't worry about it. You don't have to. It's all good. It's lovely to have you. I do sort of feel like I have to be nice now because someone's mum is here.
Yeah.
Yes, Mrs. Patterson. Sorry, Mrs. Patterson.
No, Stan's a lovely lad. Very lovely lad.
Well, I said before, like, because he sent me some stuff years ago, and he's got this insanely good, like, I think I said to you, he's got this amazing, like, broadcaster's voice, and he's like a young bloke. He's got this great, like, voice for radio, and I kind of feel like when he's broken that voice in a bit in later years, it'll be even more developed. Like, he's got that broadcaster's voice.
This didn't really ever make sense to me that cable cut the guy in half. Because the car stops at the boat, so it's like the cable doesn't surely keep going. There's nothing weighty on the end of the cable that goes into the boat.
Oh, I love that shot though, of like what that gag where he just goes. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's really horrible.
Yeah,
it's sort of like that. Remember that thing in Iron Man 3 where it's like the North Korean robot suit and it just twists the guy in half in the. Oh no, it's not. It's the Hammer Tech one, isn't it? Like the Hammer.
Yeah. It's same with like Robocop 2 with the guys and the Skellington one.
Skellington one.
Yeah.
It's so, and the one that's just a guy's head in a diving bell. Oh, it's so horrible.
He's just like, stop or I'll shoot.
Stop or...
And then the little lights go on.
Oh, we should do a Robocop 2. I fucking like Robocop 2 is great. It's no Robocop, but that would be a good watch along, I think, because you can just have fun with that film, right?
No, it's great for all sorts of reasons. You know, different to the first one, but still great, I think.
Okay, Stan's mum's happy. I'm pleased. My sense of responsibility feels, catered to. We're having a nice, wholesome fun time. Twins might clinch it. Twins? Kindergarten Cop or Twins? Kindergarten Cop was one of those old commentaries that was really well loved. That one always blindsided me. I remember having fun recording it with you, but I had no concept it would be as quoted back to me as it ended up. Yeah,
that was quite a throwaway commentary, I think, for us. It wasn't, I don't think I expected it to be. I seem to remember having a laugh doing it. I think we had most of the laugh was sort of like at Arnie's expense, especially in the opening scene. But
sorry, keep going, pardon me.
All right, he's off. Kindergarten Cop was a fun one, but dude, I mean, the thing is, it's the magic, whatever chemistry or whatever, makes a commentary great or fun or whatever is it's hard to replicate.
That's one of the ones that gets, that's one of the ones people really love, and I can't remember quite a lot of the gags from that or whatever, because again, it must stress it. We just make all that shit up. We still don't write anything. There's no writing. Yeah. We just sort of. I
remember the gag about Jack Nicholson on a plane or something. Because it looked like
not.
There was a face on the tail of the plane that in the exterior shot of this plane, and it looked like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. So I was like, I can't remember what the joke was or any of that. I just remember that Jack Nicholson was on the plane.
Right. Okay.
It's Johnny, but it's not funny. That was funny. And Ferret came from that as well. Ferret. I love this. He's eating boiled eggs. What is he? He's got boiled eggs. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not going down to Bolo Town. But he has got boiled eggs.
I'm not sure I can. Ian McGar, can you resend me your In Search of the Last Action Skeletons photo? Where did you put it? I'm not. I've been trying not to look at Twitter recently because it's been stressing me out a bit. So I'm trying not to look at it. But I don't trust people who eat boiled eggs, just cold boiled eggs. Boiled eggs, fine. Someone who has a cold boiled egg in their lunchbox, I'm always a bit like, what?
I quite like that.
Cold boiled egg.
Well, you've seen me. When we go and get lunch from Sainsbury's or whatever.
The salad box.
Salad things. I put a boiled egg in there. No, I like a boiled egg.
I can't.
My dad might used to have them when we go for picnics. We'd have boiled eggs. So yeah, it's fun. My dad.
Yeah. Well, all you've done there is clearly childishly. I've created a mental image of you on your dad with a wicker basket full of hundreds of boiled eggs, and that's all full. Sort of like when you lift the lid up, it kind of goes gadoing, and there's like just boiled eggs, and you just sit and eat boiled eggs and don't shit for a year.
Yes.
See, Bruce Willis is in classic. This is classic McClane now. He's in the vest. And he does the similar body language. He does two weird things. He does a kind of straight arm, because he's got the arm injury again, I think. And Bruce Willis loves to do this kind of open mouth thing when he... that kind of strange open mouth thing he does when he runs around as McClane sometimes. I think even when he shoots...
Oh, I know what you mean, yeah.
When he shoots Hans as well, he does a kind of open mouth, I think. Like kind of... sort of... It looks so weird doing that. But...
Yeah, no, I think I know what you mean. Yeah, it's that kind of almost pleased with himself, like... Okay. Yeah. No, he's this bit. I love this bit, and all the stuff around. Yeah, I love it as well that his vest is all filthy, and it's like he's back in sort of Die Hard 1 territory. I like that bit with Hans earlier as well when he's not Hans, Simon earlier. When he's like, "Got to take the safety catch off," shoots him in the leg.
Oh, and also like classic McClane, he's got a Beretta again, of course.
A Beretta.
A Beretta. The barrel of a Beretta.
M92F.
I am Snorlax, yes. I am Snorlax has said, my bodybuilding friend used to eat 12 cold-boiled eggs a day at work lunch. Your bodybuilding friend died of constipation.
He's bringing back the impacted bowel.
Yeah. He can't have a prolapse rectum because he just no longer has a rectum. It's just concrete.
12 boiled eggs.
12 boiled eggs. I've said this many times. I met a lad, it's classic festival meet. I met a lad at the first day of Secret Garden Party.
I met a lad going to St Ives who had
he had 12 boiled eggs. I did. In actual fact, it was in Huntingdonshire, so it wasn't far from St Ives.
There you go. Yeah.
I just met this lad. And he goes like, I hate festival toilets, and because this is classic first day festival thing. I hate festival toilets, and I was like, yeah, they're kind of gross. He goes like, I don't use them, and I was like, all right. And you know when someone's going to tell you something but you don't really want to listen? He's like, I don't want to use them, and I was kind of like, oh yeah. And he's like, do you know what I do? And I was sort of like, and he goes, first day festival, I get in, I eat 10 boiled eggs, don't shit all weekend.
Right.
Thanks. Never saw him again. Don't really know who he was. I think he was like a friend's friend. It's like, I know that I just joke about poos too much, but that lad just kind of came in and gave me that as his opening gambit. And weirdly enough, we're not friends now. I didn't go like, let's be mates.
Thanks for the top tip. Let's be friends. I don't. Yeah, that's the kind of person those sort of people who insist on telling you things, and it's so much more for their gratification than it is for your benefit.
Yeah.
Like I get so fed up with that. Like anyone who's ever worked behind a bar will know you always get those twats coming in and say like, oh yeah, you want your glasses aren't clean enough, or oh you're not your gases tastes a bit. It's like what? Like I the bar I worked at a while ago that it was like. People would come in and order a pint of Bud Light and then complain that what it tastes like. It's like, it's Bud Light. It's what a computer thinks beer is. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Would you like beer?
It is. It's what if you programmed the computer to make beer, that's what would come out.
Enjoy your...
Refreshing.
Lager. Enjoy your lager.
Would you like 12 units of refreshing? Refreshing. It's like
4 right. Foam not found.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
it was that. It's like, it doesn't taste right. It's like it doesn't taste right normally. What's your problem?
See also Foster's and Carlin. It's like, mate, these are always shit. Like that's what you bought. Like you've come and asked for the cheapest lager. Go fuck yourself.
That's another thing I used to hate when you work at a bar and someone comes in and goes, "Well, pint of Foster's, mate," and you don't do it. It's like, look around you. Do you walk into a shop and ask for anything? Like it's like what?
That guy from Little Britain, isn't it? The pirate memory games for ages 6 to 8. Like every bar has that multiple times. Margaret, do we have any Fosters?
Just step back, open the cellar door, and go, Margaret.
I know, like you know, there's this kind of like popular myth that. As a bartender, it's your duty to be everybody's psychiatrist or whatever.
Oh, God.
And come on, though. Like, it's a shit job for shit money, and people treat you like shit for most of the time. And in your downtime, someone will come in and go like, "Pint of I'll have a double whiskey, please." There you go. Drinking on my own today. Oh, yeah? Yeah, my wife's left. Is she? She's like... Yeah, it's all right. Don't want to talk about it. All right. I never liked her, and oh god,
Oh,
and they
no,
just
oh,
kind
no.
of, it's like, I get it, I get that sucks, and they want some help, but it's kind of like, I'm on minimum wage, mate. Like, it's mostly people threatening to kick my head in after 9 o'clock, and now I've got you telling me about your divorce.
Yeah, I mean, it's also when you work in some cheap bar, cheap pub, and they complain that they didn't get like silver service from you. It's like freaking, like it's like some sommelier or whatever. Like it's kind of like, yeah, that was. It's like you're in a pub, mate. Chill out. Some Karen will come in and complain that, and leave no tip and all that kind of thing. It's like, oh, bugger off.
Yeah, but like I used to get a lot because I worked in posh hotels, but I started my career in like kind of down market ones, which is fine. Like I worked in like a Holiday Inn Express, which is like travel lodge. They're not dirty or anything; they're fine, but they're just cheap hotels. And you get these pricks that have been booked in for work. It'd be like, "Where is the swimming pool?" It's like you walked past a fucking vending machine, mate. Where do you think the swimming pool is? It's kind of like champagne. Do you have, whichever fancy champagne? And it's just sort of like, no. Like, we've got Iron Brew on tap. Like, the only food here is paninis. Why do you think there's going to be Bollinger? Where do you think we're keeping the bolly, you cunt? Like, and then act really put out, and it's like, look around you, man. Like,
yeah, I know. It's just all that stuff does my head in. I'm one of these people. See, this is another thing that sort of really is a complete misunderstanding about actors and stuff. I've always had this, like, whenever I've worked somewhere else and they're like, you're an actor, why don't you act like you care what people say? I'm like, because that's not acting. That's not what an actor does. An actor doesn't lie. That's a mistake. Yeah. Like, you just lie and pretend you're happy, and it's like, no, that's not what actors do. Actors wear their heart on the sleeve. That's the point. Is that we act truthfully in imaginary circumstances. It's a very different thing to just going, I am happy now. It's like, that's not what that is. And so, like, to say that, and like, just to sort of say that I'm going to be bothered. I mean, I feel like going as well. Whenever someone says that to me in some minimum wage shitty job in the past, is I feel like saying to them, okay, pay me my acting fee then. If you want me to act, you owe me 350 quid a day, and you owe my agent 20% cut. It's like,
dude, like, come on, it's sort of like perfect. It's like if you say to someone, I play the saxophone, and then they just expect you to pull it out from under the bar and start whacking it. You know what I mean? Like blasting out some tunes. It's like, no.
I've had that so many times in my life, like when I've worked in sort of jobs like that and like in events management and stuff like that, and they're like, you're an actor, why don't you do this thing where you get to interact with the public? And it's like, that's not acting. And also, if you want me to act, you have to pay me to act. Like, it's not just a skill that you transfer anywhere and people get to exploit for no extra money. It just is. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like one of those things. It's like, we don't make anything, so do it for free now.
Yeah, I know.
We probably should talk about the film a little bit.
I suppose we've missed all the bit where he's like, you're right, he was an asshole.
Yeah, he was an asshole.
You got his number.
We just saw a pearl-handled, nickel-plated Walther PPK.
We did, and we saw it in its double action glory there. It was clearly decocked before she pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this because isn't the discussion here like, isn't McClane going to break his thumb or something to get out the cuffs?
No, he's got a piece of cable in his shoulder.
Oh no, he does. Oh yeah, he pulls the bit, and then he has to like spit it out into Zeus's hand, right? Like.
Yeah, and then he picks his own lot, gets down, and then Zeus picks his cuffs and then drops it. So
this is a great moment because like all the kind of bullshit banter is kind of here, but they are. This is where they work well as a team, and also this is yet more of Zeus going like, McClane is mad as fuck.
Yeah,
this guy is fucking crazy. And just good McClaning. I just die hard with the Vengeance.
It's just very judged, and it doesn't sort of go too far either. Like, I love this moment when he drops the cable. It's just left to Samuel L. Jackson to sell that. There's no cutaway of him dropping the bit of cable. He just goes. He's like, oh fuck! I dropped the cable. So he just changes. It's
Well, that's the again. I think the strength of we haven't really talked much about the fact that this is John McTiernan, but I think him returning to this series, like, it just gives it perhaps what it was missing a bit. because
Yeah.
Die Hard 2 is a bit too much of a retread, and it has like same shit up the same guy twice, and it is like. Whereas this, it's not the same shit, even though it kind of is, because it's the brother lying and stuff, but it still feels, pretty different.
Yeah. Was Die Hard 2 a massive success?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, clearly they felt they could do another. So there's that, I suppose. I think it's interesting that, this... Because this is after Pulp Fiction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of because I think they put a Captain Kangaroo reference in here, don't they? And obviously that was a big success for both of these two, even though neither of them really share screen time in that film.
Screen together, no. Yeah.
But they make a great team. I don't know if did they do anything else these two together.
Oh,
I've got a feeling like again they might be in the same film but not on screen in something else.
Yeah, it'll be something like The Siege, or one of those '90s films that we all forget about. But I'm probably.
Yeah, I can believe it. I remember going to watch The Siege when I was, I suppose, like 15 or something when it came out in the cinema, and I was just because it's like Bruce Willis was in it and it's Bruce and Denzel, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just being like, oh yeah, Bruce Willis does a Washington, it's going to be brilliant. And then being a 15-year-old idiot, just being like, this is boring. And I've never watched it again, and I wonder if as an adult, it's a bit more politically aware and whatever, it might be more interesting.
I think, I have it somewhere. I think the problem with it is that it's now, in the hindsight of what terrorism is now, it probably feels quite...
Because it's basically like Bruce Willis exceeds his authority, and it's like the Japanese internment camps, right? But it's for
it's like martial law on the streets.
Because Tony Shalhoub gets busted into the camp.
Right.
So, I don't. Maybe it's just boring, and I'm right.
And Annette Bening is she's fine in it, but she's all right. And, Denzel's good in it. There's some good moments in it, but yeah, it's a bit.
Oh,
it's just a bit. I think the thing is, if it was post 9/11, it would have been a much more focused film. Maybe not in the right way, but it would have been a much more. I don't think it would have got made post 9/11 though, because as you say, it has that kind of sort of fairly tone deaf attitude towards Muslims.
Yeah, well, it was before. Yeah, because it was before all that became reality, wasn't it? I suppose. Everyone is saying really, 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 really obvious. Of course, they did Unbreakable together.
Oh, of course, yes.
And they revisited those recently. I had a feeling there was like a huge one somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I've heard that like Glass is supposed to be awful, which is a shame because I really, legitimately, genuinely enjoyed Unbreakable. It's been a while since I've watched it, but
Yeah, it's all right. That was a film that never really lit my nuts on fire. If I'm honest, I kind of watched it around the time when it came out. And then that's about it.
Because that was it was kind of a superhero comic book tinged thing, wasn't it? But actually wasn't one. It was, it's kind of like very skirting around. Because now, if you did that, everyone would be wearing capes and stuff, right? Because that was when people were ashamed of that. And
it's sort of like Chronicle was, I suppose. It's sort of not, no tights, no flights.
Oh, someone said, I'd like to comment earlier, and I can't remember who said it. I can't remember the exact wording, but it said, my favourite Die Hard is where Die Hard is a ghost and he's friends with a little boy. Which I'm trying to quite. That's something that I do a lot. Is because Bart Simpson calls John McClane Die Hard.
Right.
As someone who knows me personally, that I just like to take one joke and endlessly ram it into the ground. And my one at the moment is because we're watching Prison Break. He's not called Michael whatever. He's called John Prison Break.
His name's Michael Schofield, which is bad enough.
Yes.
Philip Schofield.
Because his brother's called like Lincoln
Burrows,
yeah.
Which is like, yeah.
But to me, it's John and Ian Prison Break.
No one, they do address it later on, spoilers, as to why they have different surnames. But it's like, in the first series, I don't think, unless I missed something.
No, because I was a bit like, this doesn't make sense.
Why is his name Lincoln Schofield?
I don't want to go too far off, but what I love about Prison Break, having just found it, is like they throw in these insane narrative hand grenades like every second episode.
Oh, it gets worse.
Good, because
it gets so laughable into the latter season.
When John Prison Break delivers one of his because he has these great when a plan comes together moments, and he does he does that one face where he goes, Like, he looks to one side and grins every time. And it's always kind of like, he'll go, Lincoln, I've just found out they can't execute animals in the state of Chicago. And it goes like, but you're an animal. Didn't I tell you? I'm a newt. And then does or whatever. It's like, oh, my dad's a toaster. Dun, 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 dun.
And then
Like,
Lincoln goes, Chicago's not a state.
oh, yes, of
It's
course.
in Illinois.
Didn't I tell you? I made it into a state. Like, there's so much of that.
The thing that bugged me throughout that whole thing is obviously Dominic Purcell, who looks like or bollock head as I call him. He's Australian, but for the longest time I was like, that accent seems put on, but I can't work out why. And then he's an Aussie. So, and especially later on when he gets lazy with it, and he's like, "Come on, Michael, let's do it."
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, right.
I just sort of love how crap it all is, but I absolutely am compelled by it completely.
Rob Nepper is brilliant. He plays Teabag.
Teabag, yeah, that's who the missus is. She's all about Teabag because she's already watched it all, and it's one of those things I'd never watch because it's classic. People tell Richard to watch a thing, so he won't watch it. But I was like, hey, we've got nothing to do. Let's watch it. And again, it's just so. I love the kind of. I'm totally compelled by its crazy sort of soap opera-ness and. Again, narrative hand grenades all the time.
Hashtag narrative hand grenade. That is definitely, definitely.
So it's usually like it's not like once an episode, but it's quite often like once every 2 or 3 episodes. There's this huge thing that just.
Bear in mind, it's a Fox show and it's written by very similar people. I think a lot of the same people from 24. A lot of recurring cast come over from like 24 and stuff, and it's like that pattern that 24 had, where it was like every 4 episodes or whatever was essentially one act or arc, so something big had to happen at the end of 4 episodes, and it's the same with Prison Break. And there's filler episodes that don't really go anywhere and all that.
It's got those stupid little ad break cuts as well, where it goes like dung 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 dung.
Yeah, like when that first happened, I was like, what? And then I go like, and
again, what you get is absurd narrative hand grenade, the face from Michael Schofield, and then
like what?
Well, great to see Stacey Keach as well. I love the Keach. So as you know, Keach is the warden.
Yes,
it was really, really good with his matchstick Taj Mahal.
Look at this. That's a great shot. Let's talk about Die Hard quickly.
Yes, quickly.
That's a great shot of the helicopter coming out of the.
I can't remember the name of that machine gun. I forget, but like that's what the FBI guys have in Die Hard.
Of course. Do you see that like lorry jackknife there? That was a very quick shot, but it was a pretty good.
Oh man, like Die Hard's so good for vehicular shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like vehicular stuff, because it's the send in the car in Die Hard. Die Hard 2 is crashing planes. Die Hard 4, has its silly crashing a plane into a helicopter thing and
crashing a cop car. Riding a jet plane into
riding a jet, yeah.
Jumping off a lorry onto a jet plane and riding it into or whatever.
Did you ever see Gamer with Gerard Butler? No, that's by the guys that did Crank. I can't remember their names right now. The guys who did Crank and stuff. Have you seen Gamer with Gerard Butler?
No, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think just. Yeah, it's. I like Crank probably for the wrong reasons again, but I can't remember the name of those 2 directors. But they've done a few things. I think they did the second Ghost Rider movie as well, and it's sort of like, a film basically tangentially about gaming, starring Gerard Butler. No, I'm all right, thanks.
Nah, mate.
But intellectually lazy as I am, I just tend to get behind actors when they're like Scottish people doing well in Hollywood. I'm always like, he's like Karen Gillan came up earlier, and I was like, Gerard Butler. I'm like, nah, mate, you. Do you mind? Can we not? Because I remember there was talk of him being Snake Plissken, because they kept trying to get that Escape from New York remake done.
Right, yeah.
It's like, no, you're not replacing Kurt Russell. Fuck off. And I'm sort of like Scottish Kurt Russell that a bit. A Scottish Snake Plissken would be great, but not him.
Yeah.
I'd rather have one-eyed Karen Gillan.
I'd rather have one-eyed Duncan Casey. No.
See, this is yes. He's got 2 bullets again, right? Like in the end of Die.
Yeah.
Nice little callbacks to this stuff. They really want you to know it's Canada in these scenes.
Yeah. It's a bit. Do you think this is a bit of an unsatisfying ending? I mean, I don't mind it.
No, I like it. It's Die Hard enough. I mean, there's been lots of talk of the alternate ending, which I do like, but I'm glad isn't in the film. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want it anywhere near the movie, but I like that it exists. And
This was a trope, if you want to call it that was done a lot. That sort of people seem to have shied away from a bit more now. But it's like the good guy wins by shooting a thing that the bad guy didn't see, and then that's,
yeah,
it's like the exploding barrels. It's like the barrel.
a barrel. Well, it's kind of like that, because like in the RoboCop TV show where the A Team, it was constant knocking boxes onto people to catch them because you couldn't shoot them. But in movies such as, like you said, the trope is they just do that in a violent way, which kind of negates the point. But because he's good enough shot to shoot a wire, but he doesn't shoot Simon in the face. Like,
I know. Yeah. Well, it's because he's shining it. I know. Well,
I suppose that's it's a moving target and stuff as well.
Yeah.
This is the stuff about Zeus. Like, again, like this tees up that he could go back to Holly, and I think Die Hard 4 should have had Holly in it and stuff, and to make it a bit of a kind of less miserable spiral,
To me, this is the best. Those like the 1, 2, and 3. If you just left it, I mean, there are still more things you can do with John McClane, but this is such a '90s action thing, isn't it? It's like end. It's just like thin. There's no nowadays. It would have there would be a shot of him seeing Holly and go. It'd be like The Rock does. It'd be like cuts to like suburban street. He goes up to.
Oh god, that makes me so. That makes my cock bleed just thinking about it. It's endless. Him hugging his kids and like a lamb comes out or something. You know what I mean? Because I like this because this is I do like this. This is the kind of big pull out crane or helicopter shot because they do a great one at the end of Die Hard, of course, which is better than this one because there's all this stuff going on. But it's a nice subtle thematic callback to that where they kind of pull out and it's like, hey, it's Die Hard. It reminds me of Die Hard.
It's often that pulling back and observing the chaos kind of thing as he sort of because it's is it Shane or whatever that he refers to in the first one? It's like he rides off into the sunset, and that's essentially what we're seeing.
Gary Cooper, asshole.
Yeah. But that's I guess what's happening. But here it doesn't work quite as well because it's just a bit more. It's just a helicopter and him and Sam Jackson. But
I think that something I don't know. You've probably heard this yourself. Obviously, Die Hard has now gone into the auspices of Disney with the Fox acquisition and such, and this kind of prequel sequel thing has been bounced around. Have you heard about the next Die Hard concept? The kind of half prequel.
Isn't that just a cop film?
Sorry,
that's a film. Isn't that just a film about a man who's a cop
and policeman?
And policeman.
It's supposed to be that in the modern day, like someone discovers that John McClane done a bad thing in the 70s when he was a rookie, and they send him to jail, and then it flashes back to when he's a rookie in the 1970s, and he's played by someone shit who hasn't been cast yet. So they introduced the young John McClane, and then obviously through the backstory that's filled in, we realise he's innocent and da-da-da. And I think I can't remember, someone high profile wrote it or has written the treatment, and then I don't know if it's Len Wiseman wanted to come back and direct because obviously Wiseman did 4. I think they took out an ad, they took out a full page ad in the LA Times so everyone could find out about this fucking thing they want to make or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, that was the idea. And come on, let's not do any more Die Hards. Please, can we not do any more Die Hards?
I know. Well, this is it. I mean, I think you can conceivably say you've got 3 solid films with a fourth decent one. Leave it. Even the problem. I think the problem with 4 was that it was already going into a territory that they tried to make hay of the fact that he doesn't know about computers, and it's like but. That may be the case when you put him up against the nerdiest of nerds, who, by the way, wasn't particularly well explained. Like Justin Long's character in that is a bit like Gus Gorman. It's like
it's a bit better than that, but it is
I just think because
Gus Gorman sees an ad on some matches, and
but I mean, he says there's that line of dialogue like, "How do you know this stuff?" And he goes, "I don't know, I just know it," and it's like. That's lazy. Like, don't be lazy with this shit. Like, but it's fine. But it was already kind of going out of its comfort zone, and I just think, and obviously by 5 it was just completely run into the ground. And I think that they,
5 was just so dead-eyed. That's my thing. I think 4 does have a bit of spark to it, and I would rather have had John McTiernan come back because he was gunny, but then all the kind of wiretap stuff happened, and it seems like that might have been a bit of a hatchet job anyway. But I feel like maybe McTiernan could have, and they should have gone for a harder certificate, because it's in that time when Fox completely hated making anything with a kind of, hard edge to it.
Yeah.
Sorry, but just 5 is just horrible. Like, I don't remember anything about it, and I've watched it. You know what I mean? I felt like I forgot it whilst I was watching it. That's how bad it was.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just sad, and it's just sort of dead. Again, 4, I think he's got a bit of the Bruce Willis spark back in it. Undeniably, I think he seems to be enjoying himself. Whereas like Die Hard 5 is just like, fuck. It's this dead-eyed sort of. I hate to just reuse this again, but I believe I described modern day Bruce Willis as a tortoise made of foreskin. I believe I said that, and that's how, that's how he looks now, or in
fair.
that,
It's a fair appraisal.
Well, I hate seeing, because what I liked about him was like he was so kind of charismatic, and he was so sort of twinkly and sort of warm and funny. And just seeing him miserable, it's just kind of like, I don't want Bruce Willis to be sad,
I think, because part of what I suppose a lot of film stars maybe don't get sometimes is like what attracts us to them is that they're living. I mean, I know it's not everyone's ambition to be an actor, but for a lot of us, they're living the dream, right? They're doing the thing that we all want to do, and so sort of tangentially, you want to see them enjoy it. When someone is turning around and sort of being annoyed that they have to do it, it's a bit like, right, well...
Yeah, it's like, man, you're making kind of mad residuals on stuff. You don't need, surely, to be doing that. Like, maybe he's paying out some insane amount in child support that we don't know about or something, but it sort of feels like... That was kind of the annoying thing with him. It's like, if you don't want to be here, don't be here.
Yeah. Yeah, or at least be humble. I mean, the thing is, when you're in those situations, it's like, you can still be humble enough to say... This is helping me pay for my child support, or you could, what I mean? Like, at least I have work. I mean, Christ, there's so many actors who don't. It's like,
yeah, that's and again, speaking to yourself, like as an actor, it's just sort of like, if you don't want to fucking do it, let one of us have a go, because if you're not going to fucking bother, there's a bunch of like hungry, talented people that would like to step in and do it.
Absolutely, yeah, it does, and it does piss me off when I see people squander opportunities. That always winds me up. Whether in whatever way, whether it's through lack of gratitude or it's through they piss their life away on drink and drugs or whatever, it's like, look, dude, you've just been given the keys to the kingdom. Don't fucking, But at a young age, I can understand it a bit. But
I mean, it is a system that kind of fucks people up, isn't it? I think that's a thing. It's just very downbeat. I would like to say that we haven't had the biggest numbers ever tonight, but what we have had that is very heartening is very consistent numbers. People have stuck around.
Yeah,
that's the difference. I'd rather have 141 people for the whole thing than a thing that goes kind of up and down. So it's been very nice to have everybody here. I'm sure the credits still rolling on your Die Hard. I'm not really.
They have just stopped.
Oh, just stopped. Well, mine will have done as well. There you go. Distributed by 20th Century Fox. But yeah, that's nice. It's nice to have the consistency. So
yeah. No, thank you all so much for coming and listening to us talk crap on the internet. So.
Saturday night as well, which is a bit different.
Saturday night at the movie. Who cares what picture we see? Patreons. That's $3 and above. Who can vote?
Probably my favourite segue ever.
Yes, I had to get through that particular stanza in order to be able to plug our Patreon.
Particular stanza. We are into the asking about phase. We'll be on till 11. There's going to be some. There's going to be a credit roll. It's not entirely up to date, so I need to update that soon because we've had a lot of patrons come aboard, which is really sweet.
Richard has this crazy obsession with trying to keep it as up. Literally, as soon as another Patreon comes in, he wants to update thing. And I keep
Duncan
saying,
had to talk me down. Yeah, you had to talk me down from that.
No, there's more. No, I just updated it. It's like, we'll do it next month, dude. Like, leave it. Use a pen, Sideshow.
Use a pen, Sideshow Bob. Again, that was I made that joke when John Prison Break punched the wall, then pretended to have a psychotic break because he wrote all that stuff on the wall. He's like, use a pen, Sideshow Prison Break.
Bob Twilliger, Prison Break.
Bob Twilliger. Brad wants to go to the pub. He's Capitals. I don't remember the last time I had a beer with Brad. Brad used to come and stay on my pump up bed and we'd have a Ruby. None of those things are euphemisms, are all they?
He came around. Brad came and stayed. I guess it was like February, Brad. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. February or March time, but yeah, like now it's all kind of. I don't know. I really need to catch up with you, Brad. Actually, I must give you a call because it's been too long, and I want to hear what's been going on with you. So we'll do that soon.
Steve Allen asks if I've ever watched Duncan give a performance in the theatre. No, I haven't. I'd quite like to do that sometime.
Oh, I'll get on it.
Yeah, no one will see anyone in the theatre for the future.
Yeah,
I've directed Duncan many times. Well, a handful of times, let's say.
He whinges at me to get things done. That's not so. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, yes, you and I.
That's a professional relationship, Duncan.
Yes,
it's just me being a moany cunt, which is how those who love me know me.
Yeah, no, I'd love to do some more stage work. You know, it's up to not right now, but it's
a shitter. It's a shitter. That is. I'd love to go see you on the stage, man. It's just
yeah, well,
certainly ain't going to happen now, but that's all right. That's all right. You know, we'll get there. Yeah. We're trying to complete. Duncan and I have made a corporate promo, which we're both very proud of. Which we rented a space for, and we took all the nice equipment, and we did like fancy green screen and animation, and we needed 2 shots to finish it, and it involved going out in the countryside and using a drone, and then lockdown happened. It's like the one thing 2 shots we can't get. It's really fucking irritating, but you know, is what it is. Shit happens, you know. We'll get there. I think I was saying. Sorry, I don't want to talk about work too much, but I was saying earlier, we could get those 2 shots in a responsible way. I think if I disinfected the road pack. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. News. Yes. No, we will. We'll get it. I mean, the thing is, the corporate thing is won't exist for a while. Although I have got people teeing us up to go and do a bunch of that stuff. So
that's good. I need to get that. This is the exciting. This is how. This is the exciting business end of Val Verde, in that Duncan.
This is what
we're trying to combine our.
We've ended up as Paul Mann's Red Letter Media in a lot of ways. Even without, it's not by design, but it's like, didn't they do that? They used to shoot corporates.
Yeah, they used to do corporates and stuff. That's why they're called Red Letter Media. Like because I did that anyway, and you're an actor, but we were trying to fuse the 2 things into a kind of legitimate business side of the stuff. But then lockdown happened, which was shit because we were sort of like on the way. So there you go. Brad Watson. I would like Brad Watson on a Skype. If you want to appear like Mark did, that would be great. Like maybe you and Duncan could do a thing or something. I'd like to speak to you as well, Brad. Man, I expect you fucking ages. Like, you know, but it'd be nice to get some more content. I've got Ivan, recorded an episode with Ivan about Andy Sedaris. We got that coming. You've done Jaws and 24, I think you said earlier. We've got quite a lot in the can, actually, man. Like, you've done Jaws with TGV and 24 with TGV, Jaws with Mark. Yeah. I've done Andy Sedaris kind of overview with Ivan, and then we're going to do some kind of picture-picture commentaries, I think. And I've also done I've done a commentary to my first ever film, Ghost Pit, with co-director Nick Skews, which should be quite fun because it's just us talking about being snarky 20-year-old weirdos. And you can go watch Ghost Pit. It's one of the first videos uploaded to this channel, and it's former guys as Richard Jackson.
Richard Jackson. Let me ask, actually, whilst everyone's here, if you wouldn't mind letting us know kind of what I don't know how many of you are on Patreon and how many of you tuned in for the Kenneth watch party, but just out of interest, how much interest there is for us sort of doing watch parties to, like, because we've both worked on movies with Mark and Brad, and whether or not you'd like us to do watch parties with them on those movies. Obviously the sort of main thrust of these has been to do well-known movies that are widespread so that we can all watch them together, but I think there seems to be an appetite, and we've kind of seen it as more of a niche thing, I think, in terms of doing it for Patreon, just because I think there's you kind of want to do it for an audience that's really interested. I wouldn't want to do it for Gen Pop if everyone was going to be kind of bored halfway through and start flinging shit like monkeys at the comment section.
We kind of ended up just not talking about. We were shit flingers today. There was very little diehard towards the end.
Yeah. I say that with all reverence, really. But I suppose it's just I just wonder how much interest there would be in sort of doing that. So anyway.
I'm just going to answer a quick PC question. Floyd Dillon says, "What's the big deal about Alienware laptops?" My nephew is giving me a newish laptop. Alienware was bought by Dell, I think, but they're basically gaming-focused laptops. I don't have one. I've got MSI. They're supposed to be pretty good, and if you're getting given a free one, sweet, bully, go for it. Carl Gollard asks, "Did you guys ever do a Matrix commentary in the past? Is that something that would interest you?" No, I didn't. Did you do one?
No.
No, I'm quite surprised by that. Actually,
we did. It ain't broke.
It ain't broke, yeah. But I'm quite surprised that we've never done. I'm saying I thought we would have done that with Ollie. You would think that's something we would have covered. I'm certainly did a retrospective on it or something.
Retrospective review.
Yes, yeah, because I
wasn't review.
I wasn't really sure what that meant. If it's just one word. I think most descriptive phrases need a redundancy.
Yeah,
I like most descriptions to be 50% redundant. I just think they're more. I think they're more better that way.
They're more better. Yes, yeah.
I'm moving swiftly on. I'm sure we'll be all more respectful of one of your own films, Duncan and Brad. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm sure. I don't.
Sorry, I didn't want to imply you were all monkeys flinging shit. That's really hard. I don't mean it like that. You know what I mean, though. It's kind of like I can quite understand. I can understand like when I being asked to watch someone else's work when it's not like a mass piece of entertainment. It's like maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm.
I would say like it's really hard to do this because when you're friends with the director or whatever, and it just feels self-serving or whatever. But I would say that Night Shooters is included in Amazon Prime. It's free to watch. Is Hallows Eve still on Netflix?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, at least Night Shooters, for example, is something that everyone can pull up and watch for free. And we'll all be watching the same copy. Well, not for free, of course. No, of course not for free, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the subscription.
There's also, I did want to sort of check, I don't know if there's any response in the comments here, but... oh, Ben! £5 from Ben. Ben's also on Patreon. God bless you, Ben. Thank you very much. I've not got any interesting questions this week, but cheers, guys. You've complimented my annoyingly warm beer wonderfully. Dude, thank you, Ben. Ben's been supporting us for fucking ages, man. Thank you very, very much.
Cheers, Ben.
Yeah, I was just wondering if... I do think stuff that you and I have worked on is a good shout if anyone's interested to hear it. I think particularly something like Fistful of Lead that you are in like really, really extensively. It means you've got a lot to say, and you could even have like Mark there in the room or in the room Skype.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I kind of wanted to throw out is like if people would watch something that's on Disney Plus, because I don't know how many people have Disney Plus, but there's a bunch of stuff now on Disney Plus, and it's like, oh well, we're doing a Disney Plus commentary. How many of you lot have got Disney Plus? And if you don't have Disney Plus, you could get the free trial to come to the watch along.
Yeah.
Not be, speaking as someone broadcasting from what is normally a dog grooming shed, I assure you I'm not getting any kickbacks from Disney.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah, no. I mean, there's so much for us to do. I think once normal programming resumes, we have a lot to consider. Maybe if you guys have any suggestions, then put them in the comments. But suggestions for what could we've talked about this before lockdown, even, but we were talking about retooling It Ain't Broke to be just renaming it and rebranding it. And
I think because you had a nice kind of suggestion for a bit of a gimmick hook on it, which I really liked. And I think just that slight tweak to give it a different focus, make it a little bit different, and give it a more palatable name. These were kind of suggestions from you that I am into.
Okay.
I like what you had to say about that, and it's just, when are we next going to be allowed to be in a room together? That's the fucking...
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing. But, we'll get there. But, I mean, at least at this point, it gives us the time to kind of sit around and, think about these things, I suppose. Yeah.
We've got a kind of I should have seen this coming, but we've got a kind of I am Spartacus going on with who does and doesn't have Disney Plus in the comments. I have Disney Plus. Richard, what's your beef with Elon Musk? I think he's kind of anti-worker, not as smart as he thinks he is, and a bit of a cunt. Don't really talk politics and stuff. Just want to put that in a capsule for you, and that's all I've got to say about that. Someone I saw Elon Musk this week described as the Tony Stark you bought off of Wish. This is a delightful one-sentence takedown of a very famous man. So,
Fair.
so there you go. You know, cruel. Well, no, not really. He's fine. He doesn't need us. Did you see? Because the thing this week is he called his baby some ridiculous. Him and Gross called their baby some ridiculously pretentious, impenetrable name. Which I said might as well be called test tubes, lab coats, formulas, McClever brain or something, because it's basically we are smarter than you, the name, and it's really stupid. But there you go. That's enough. Musk.
Oh, creepy.
Well, we're in the last 12 minutes of
the death throes of this.
The death throes. Thanks for coming. I've had real fun this week. Being truly like stone cold sober as well for once. I've had a good time.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been fun. Forgive my low energy approach today.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Dude, you picked up.
Yeah,
I think something to remember is that I do find it quite difficult as well. Like when you have to do this, you have to be on, and when we do it, it's the same with commentaries. So the thing is, when we do commentaries, because they're off air. Do you know, like when it's something Duncan and I encounter a lot is like the post-lunch slump.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of muster that energy after we've gone and eaten like a big pile of whatever. When you do it live, it's kind of more fun because you have to really be all the way up with your energy and you have to be ready to just sort of go. So when I do gaming streams on my own, fuck, because that's live and on your own and you can't have dead air, so you just got to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Stephen says, thanks for another entertaining stream. Let's answer the DMs. Yes, Stephen, I will answer your DM as soon as I get off air because I feel really bad about that. Yeah, but there you go. Steve, Nicky's off. Worms17. See you, Nicky. Comes to every stream. God love him. God bless you, mate. See you later.
Cheers, Nicky.
Poor Duncan.
Sorry.
It's alright, man. Dude, it's alright. Yeah. Ian says, it's okay, Duncan. We've all been up and down through the lockdown. So there you go. We're all, fair play to you. No one's judging.
No, it's just I'm tired. I'm knackered. There's a lot. I have a lot going on. I honestly have never been busier since the lockdown happened. And the problem is that everyone around me has the expectation that I'm sat on my arse doing nothing, and I've got so much work on, and it's wonderful. And work, and then also like preparing the house for our a new arrival. Arrival who is coming straight down the barrel. Tentative at best. It's the use of the word battle. I don't even remember how we came upon.
It's just doing Partridge voice, isn't it? I think it's we both remembered that he says barrel, thought it was funny, and now we've said it every time we've spoke.
No, it wasn't. It was something. I said barrel in something, and it was like it just seemed appropriate to say it as Partridge, so it became battle. And then I don't know why it's become a thing. I've found myself wandering around going battle, and my wife looking at me weird.
Battle. Dan Lyles is talking about pitching diehards. Oh, excuse. Have you got the boys and girls for a sec? I think I had a knock again. Give me a sec.
Yeah. What do you mean, Dan? You want to pitch us diehards, or we need to pitch diehards? Not sure. Royal Flush 1778 says I'm preempting fatherhood exhaustion. Yes, I think I'm feeling it before it's even happened. Just getting used to the idea of not having any sleep whatsoever. I'm a really light sleeper anyway. It's a massive albatross around my neck. It really drives me up the wall that I can't ever sleep properly. But I just don't. I'm such a light sleeper. But there we are. I'll be all right. I'm okay. Duncan, do you have a joke pretentious actor's baby name lined up? No, although we have obviously been, throwing a load of names out there. That I think we've landed on one, but we'll see when we finally meet her. Whether or not it's. Will I be doing Alan Partridge impressions while my wife is in labour? I doubt it. Very much doubt it. I try not to. I try to take my work home, but she does suffer my my general stupid jokes and fart gags.
Fart gags.
She's a long-suffering wife. I was just saying how, I try not to be a doofus around the house too much, but invariably I am.
Sorry, we thought we had. They thought they'd killed the broadband inside, and I was like, no, it's still all on. It certainly looks like it, because the stream would have ended if the broadband had died. Sorry about that. Pardon me.
Sorry.
I think I Am Snorlax was saying. Was it I Am Snorlax? Saying they're going to do their first stream tomorrow? I believe. I'm doing my first stream tomorrow night, and it's on my own. Shit's going to be hard, but it's for charity. Well, let us know where your link is. Tweet it to us or whatever, because we'd like to support other streams, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something I'd like to, a lot of YouTubers don't do that. A lot of I've known, so over the years, being on Oliver's channel and being on our channel, I've known of other bigger YouTubers. In fact, it used to happen a lot with Oliver's channel. It doesn't happen as much now. But it used to be that we knew that big YouTubers were watching us, and a lot of them wouldn't admit it.
Yes.
But you know what I mean? But you would see, I knew, anyway, not to go into that too much, but we knew. But now, what I'm finding is the bigger YouTubers that are, reach out to us, like Caudry and TGV and all these people, they reach out and they really embraced us, and they've really kind of tried to help us out. And so I'm massively appreciative. And in our small way, I'd like to be able to do that for others as well.
It was quite funny finding out that big YouTubers were watching the other channel, and some really big ones as well. And there's always that thing of that channel was kind of like, well, we watch everything that doesn't have Richard and Duncan in, was a big. And it's sort of, I always sort of, some of the bigger ones I remember thinking, particularly ones that I watch myself, I was sort of going like, are they the ones that just don't like? Are they in that camp of people that just don't like us, or do they like whoever? Those people don't appear to have come over here, unless they're doing it on the low down. Because you can see, if you can see everyone who subscribes, and you can filter by who has the highest number of subscribers.
Oh, can you?
So there's a few. I know I'm not going to name names, but there's a few high-profile ones who we do dealings with a lot. But there's a couple of quite high-profile UK gaming channels that follow us that do not comment. Do not interact, but yeah, Mr. HEC 381991 says names.
Why?
Do you give a shout out to that bloke Link who was giving loads of money to you? Floyd? He didn't post a link to his podcast. He posted the name to his podcast, but he didn't post the link. That was James earlier. Like, I gladly would, but yeah, he didn't post it, and I'm not sure. I can't get all the way back up to even find his name. He popped off earlier. I am a bit worried about that, because he was just throwing money and then said he was drunk, which I'm not. I have ethical issues with that massively.
Yeah, me too.
So let's see. And he was doing it on Super Chats, which means 30% of it's gone to YouTube, like whatever. If he went to PayPal, we could ping it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No refunds. No refunds. I will say, James, if you are coming back to watch this later, get in touch if you didn't mean to do what you did, because you were throwing in money at a frightening rate, and we're not, that's ethically troublesome to us. I hope I speak for us both there. I'm sure. No, I want to keep it all.
No, I want the money. You can give back your half. No, dude. Look, honestly, I mean, thank you for the love, obviously, but please, not now, because at the moment, you guys, you need your pennies. We all do, but only give when you can.
Yeah. I mean, that's it, James. James once says, I will tweet and shout out James's podcast all fucking day of the week if he sends the link. Because Jesus Christ.
And another $9.99.
Yeah. Steve Allen says he sent you over £100.
Eesh.
I'm not all right with that. I mean, if he's like some billionaire that gets drunk and gives money to random channels, fine. But it's just some geezer getting pissed and smashing. This is the thing. It's like those fucking nasty gambling apps. You just smashing the super chat button because it's all plugged in. I'm not all right with that. So anyway, we'll. There's some amusing comments regarding this. So we will find out what's going on with James, and if we can ping that back, then we will.
Yeah, I'll see if there's a function to do that. It's harder with the super chats. That's the problem, because we have such little control over them, and they're so nebulous as to how they actually tell you. Like, you can. It's
just some vague pool of money that you don't have a lot of info.
Well, it doesn't even catalogue the money against the video properly.
You can go now. You can go into a super chats interface and see all the super chats per stream, but then when you click on the revenue tab, it's just one figure that doesn't add up because it's less their 30 or whatever, and that's why we don't really like super chat. Please, if you can only give us a super chat, that's fine. We're not being ungrateful in any sense.
No.
But it's kind of it's YouTube's fuckery is real. Oh,
it's just harder for us to, give it back.
Yes, indeed. I did find out about a thing called Restream, which we could then, in theory, we could be streaming on Facebook Live, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube and stuff all simultaneously.
Yeah.
I wondered if we streamed on YouTube and Twitch, for example, maybe it'd help build our Twitch following. I don't know. I don't know if it's better to focus on one, because I know YouTube aren't reporting our streams to anybody. So I don't know if it's better to focus down on one, or I don't know.
I don't know. The other thing, guys, if just to reiterate, last time, if any of you are on Reddit, please go and check out our subreddit and just write whatever you want in there, post links to whatever you want. It's all really, really, really helpful to us. I mean, Reddit seems like this pushing a freaking grand piano with an elephant sat on it up a hill in terms of trying to get traction, because it just seems like you have to throw so much shit at the wall to get anything to stick. But it's all very much appreciated. We are complete Luddites when it comes to that. So
yes, for some reason we just don't Reddit. Dan has just said that James's podcast is action movies and absent parents. I've just googled it to try and find a link, but I can't. So James, if you're watching, please get in touch and we can arrange to get some money back to you, or all of the money back to you if we can, because you said you were drunk and we've got ethical issues. We hate to end on this weird downbeat note. Is that guy okay? Yeah. No Die Hard 3, and then the troubling issue of someone perhaps overspending when they shouldn't have done.
Yes.
r/Val Verde Broadcasting is our subreddit.
Yes.
Mark Flackett has just joined Patreon. Thank you, Mark Flackett. Thank you very much. It's always good to have more patrons. We are coming up. Oh, it is 11 o'clock. So we will normally smash to credits shortly. So I think we're going to say goodbye. That is r/Val Verde Broadcasting, Colin McLean. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you all as usual. What a great fucking stream. I've had loads of fun, man. I think with you too, I have.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Richard, and thank you, the internet for what was a fun night. And yes, I think, it was good.
All right. Well, your name will be up in lights. I haven't updated the credits roll because Duncan talked me down because I was probably driving myself mad. So we're going to go to credits shortly. So thank you very much. We will see you next time for the next one. We love you. Goodbye.
Tatty bye.